From Am I the Asshole? Am I the asshole for blowing up at my girlfriend after therapy backfired?
Ooh.
We need more.
This is a 28-year-old man. My girlfriend, Emma, who's 27, and I have been together for 6 years. For most of that time, we've been happy, like really happy. The kind of relationship people say just works, you know? We were always on the same page, rarely fought, and genuinely enjoyed each other's company. But over the past year, things started to feel different. Small arguments here and there, more miscommunication, and just this weird sense that we weren't as in sync as we used to be. It wasn't anything major, just the usual wear and tear stuff, or so I thought. Emma, however, seemed to be more concerned. She started pointing out issues I wasn't even aware of, like how I supposedly wasn't listening enough or wasn't as emotionally available as I used to be. I admit I've been busy with work, but I thought we were doing okay. Still, I didn't want to dismiss her feelings. Then about 6 months ago, she suggested we go to couples therapy. Now, I've always been a bit skeptical about therapy unless things are really bad, but I agreed because I figured it couldn't hurt. She said she found a great therapist through a friend, and we should give it a try. I wasn't familiar with this Lily, but Emma was excited about it, so we booked our first session. At first, the session seemed fine. Lily asked good questions, got us to open up, and gave us some tools to communicate better. I felt like I was doing my best to listen and improve, but something about it felt a little off. Every time we talked about any issue, it seemed like Lily was always subtly siding with Emma. If I mentioned being stressed from work, she'd steer the conversation towards how I wasn't giving enough attention to Emma. If I brought up a disagreement, somehow it became about my communication issues. After a few weeks, Emma started using phrases like, Lily thinks you should try this, or Lily says you need to work on that. It felt like everything I did was being scrutinized and dissected by this woman I barely knew. I didn't want to be paranoid, but it seemed like Lily was slowly convincing Emma that I was the problem in the relationship. And every time I tried to voice my own concerns, they were brushed aside. I tried to push through it, thinking maybe I was just being defensive, but it didn't stop. Every session, the same dynamic. It was like Lily was planting seeds of doubt in Emma's head, and Emma was running with them. I even started to wonder if maybe I was the problem. Was I actually this bad of a partner? Things reached a boiling point a couple of weeks ago. During a session, Lily started suggesting that maybe we should consider a break so I could work on myself more. That felt like a slap in the face. I'd been trying so hard to be better, and now she was suggesting we split up. I looked at Emma, waiting for her to disagree or defend me, but she just sat there, quietly nodding along. After that session, I couldn't hold it in anymore. I told her I didn't trust Lily's judgment, that it felt like she was just feeding Emma reasons to blame me for everything wrong in the relationship. Emma got defensive, saying I was overreacting, that Lily was just trying to help us work through our issues. We didn't talk for a few days, and I started feeling guilty for snapping. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe therapy really was exposing some flaws I needed to work on. But then, something happened that blew everything wide open. Last week, we went to a mutual friend's party. While there, I overheard Emma and her friend Sarah talking in the corner, giggling about something. I caught just a bit of their conversation. I can't believe you pulled this off for this long. Poor guy still thinks she's an actual therapist.
I knew it. I knew it.
I immediately confronted them, and that's when Emma's face turned pale. Sarah quickly tried to backtrack, but the truth spilled out. Turns out Lily isn't a licensed therapist at all. She's one of Emma's close friends from college who thought it'd be fun to help Emma fix me by posing as a therapist. Emma had set this whole thing up because she thought I wouldn't agree to therapy otherwise. They figured that with Lily playing the part, they could guide me into becoming a better boyfriend without me knowing. I felt completely betrayed. For months, I had been spilling my heart out to someone who wasn't even qualified to help, and Emma had been in on it the whole time. All those sessions where I felt attacked and manipulated suddenly made sense because I was being manipulated. When I confronted Emma about how messed up this was, she broke down, saying she never meant to hurt me and that she was just trying to help us grow as a couple. But honestly, I don't know how to move past this. I haven't been able to look at her the same since. Now, Emma and her friends are saying I overreacted, that it was just a white lie meant to help our relationship. But I feel like I've been gaslit and lied to for months. So am I the asshole for blowing up on my girlfriend when I found out her therapist was a total fraud?
Nope. Dump her ass.
Bye, Emma.
Dump her ass.
That is so...
That is a violation of your f***ing privacy, first of all. I think this is unacceptable. There's no coming back from this.
Completely agree.
You're done.
It is truly f***ed up. Like,
It's
that is
over.
inappropriate.
It is over.
I wonder if anyone in the comments has any sort of legal expertise, if he has legal precedent against this.
That's what I was
believe
wondering.
so.
If there's stuff in writing that he can show, like, she posed as a therapist.
Yeah.
Fully.
Well, also though, just because there's also the rules with like confidentiality as well. And if Lily is not actually a therapist and she's going around speaking to her other friends about this as well, that's definitely a case.
I mean, look, all in all, that's an immediate dumping and never talking to this person.
Oh my God.
This is very, very cruel.
And to also then afterwards be like, it was a white lie.
That's not a fucking white lie.
This is crazy.
I thought you were gonna end it early too, and I feel like I was gonna be like, I feel like I'm predicting that Lily isn't actually a therapist, and then it actually got there.
I wasn't sure because I hear this a lot from friends to be like, I feel like my therapist always sides with blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Like, that is a known thing.
Uh-huh.
But
That's crazy.
that's fucking insane.
And also, like, I just don't understand as well, like, if she was also hoping for Lily to say, like, hey, suggest that we take a break or whatever, like, then she clearly isn't a part of this relationship anyway. She doesn't want to be a part of it, so I don't understand why she's still fighting for it.
Also, it's so embarrassing. Like, all of her friends now giggle and laugh behind his back and know all of his, like, really deep-seated... And now he's never going to fucking go to therapy again.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, these are some sick people.
Yeah.
I mean, truly sick people.
Cruel is the right word.
Sick.
How could she sit in on those sessions for months knowing that this is the case? Like, you're sitting there next to your partner while they're spilling out, like, truly vulnerable stuff, knowing you're manipulating them and just completely going along with it.
And your buddy from college is on the other side listening to this?
Being like, yeah, we got him, and he's totally going to change.
Outrageous.
This is like horror movie level of
Agreed.
sinister.
Twisted. It's
Also,
really torturous.
Did they rent an office? Where did they do this?
Yeah. I don't like that at all. It just, it not only like, yeah, you're absolutely turning another person against therapy, but you're also just twisting somebody's trust forever.
Forever.
Like now if a future partner is like, you know, we should do couples therapy, now he's gonna have to be over her shoulder and making sure that, you know, she's booking off of like something online instead of being like, yes, find us someone or whatever. Like it's gonna change the course of his life, and that is so selfish to do.
Yeah.
The comments seem to answer my question. Not the asshole, but what you should be doing is consulting a lawyer, because Lily was very likely practicing medicine without a license. Someone else said,
Facts.
I think you can actually take legal action, and you really should. That stranger was pretending to be a licensed therapist, used it to extort information you would not share otherwise, and manipulated you with it. This has to be illegal on so many levels. Besides, did they also have to pay for those sessions?
Oh, yeah.
Lastly, someone said, well, that relationship is over. Of course, she and her friends are trying to convince you that you're the problem. They lied and manipulated you into believing this woman was a licensed therapist. Why are you even taking their opinion into account? Their view on the situation is obviously skewed. Dump her and cut your losses. What unhinged behavior.
Yeah.
Legit.
I can't believe I'm saying this. Like, this relationship is even more over than Sam and the parents with the threesome.
Yeah.
100%.
It's actually insane to say I don't know what's worse to go through. Like, these are some horrendous situations.
The therapist stuff.
I think the therapist stuff is somehow so much worse.
I'm so happy that my mom, you know, had a good time.
You gotta stop that. It's like this, because this one was intentional.
And this one goes on for a long time.
Wait, how long?
It said months.
Yeah, they were doing sessions for months, right?
How could the friend literally do that?
I'm thinking about Emma.
The friend is not getting paid. They were doing this for fucking shits
fun.
and giggles.
Yeah, for fun. But like I really can't even get behind like Emma's perspective, right? How can you call yourself a partner and sit next to them? Exactly what you were saying, Shane. Like, how can you put them in such a almost like embarrassing circumstance of like,
and then laugh at it at a party while you're there?
They probably like look so foolish sitting on the couch too.
This is evil behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like it at all.
Evil behavior.
Nasty, nasty.
Oh my God.
Is there an update?
No. But I'm assuming he probably broke up with her. I hope he took legal action.
I hope so too.
Because I think I'm sure there's enough proof if like they're going about it.
Like,
I think if you are trying to manipulate or change your partner, you need to decide, okay, either I'm not happy with who this person is and I need to leave this relationship, or I need to accept them. Because when you get to the point where you're trying to change someone, you're in the wrong.
Yeah.
Like you're in the wrong because it's just not how things work.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I feel so bad for OP too. Just the way that he's like writing about like how doubtful he felt of his own feelings. Of like, I felt guilty about this and I wondered about that. And it's like
they'd been in a relationship for 6 years.
that.
I couldn't do this to anyone.
Right.
Like,
let alone the person that you're supposed to love.
I couldn't do this to my enemy. To do this to someone that is who you cherish most.
Right.
Oh my God.
No, there's something I truly think she needs to go to therapy.
Yeah, Emma
And also he now needs to go to therapy.
Yeah.
right.
If he didn't before, he needs to now because you need to unpack that.
Right.
Yep.
In her mind, maybe she was thinking like, you know, again, maybe there's ways that I can just like tweak this man into the partner that I want him to become. And so she sort of put this plan together where she could make it happen, where he didn't have to know. And maybe in her head she was rationalizing that and thinking that would be okay.
Well, clearly if she and her friends all thought this was fine, they all, bounced off each other and convinced themselves this was okay. But they are, ugh.
Yikes.
Wow. Okay. Moving on from that.
Yeah.
WTF.
That is WTF. The asshole for dropping our dinner on the ground and walking out when my boyfriend asked me, "What's for dinner tonight, bitch?"
Wait a second. Did one of my partners post this?
Jesus.
But I said like bitch. Like
yeah, true. How many eyes were in the bitch? Right? Is it just one eye?
Oh, it's just one.
Oh, then that's not.
Oh yeah, that's not okay. That's not okay. You gotta have it like bitch.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. All right. Legend.
I was All right.
Everyone's like, Ian, stop. Shut your fucking mouth.
Ian, I'm not gonna buy
Sorry.
smosh anymore.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm getting
Keep this up.
Dude, I'm getting zooted off this matcha latte.
Yeah.
So.
Do you know how much caffeine is in that?
I was over my boyfriend's apartment this weekend and I was cooking dinner because he was studying for exams. I made pasta and a chunky sauce with meatballs and veggies. I told him dinner was ready and he goes, "What's for dinner tonight, bitch?" And it's in all caps. Bitch is in all caps.
Okay.
"What's for dinner tonight, bitch?"
Wait, what's the smosh way that it would have been done?
Be like, bitch. You have to have that bitch.
What's for dinner tonight? Bitch! Or that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's getting too like
With like a lot of emphasis on the last word.
Yeah.
I was fed up. I'd had a pretty rough day with work, and I have some awfully bad associations with that word being used by other people in my life who were pretty abusive. So I was so irritated that I dropped the pot of pasta sauce I'd been carrying right on the ground and was like, "Well, nothing's for dinner tonight now, and I better not hear you using that word again. It's for the girls." He was freaking out about how sauce had landed on his rug, and he even said, "You're seriously acting like a bitch right now. I don't know what else to call it."
Whoa, okay.
There's some other shit going on.
Now,
Wrong
that's it.
bitch.
I just walked out and got takeout for myself and went to my friend's house. She thought it was funny, but my boyfriend was furious. He kept texting and calling and sending me voice memos trying to explain that saying, "What's for dinner tonight, bitch?" was a TikTok trend, and that he was just quoting something as a joke to put on TikTok. I thought that was the shittiest excuse ever. It doesn't matter if he saw it as a joke or stole the joke, it was still disrespectful. But it didn't change the fact that he thought that shit was funny, to demean me when I was trying to do him a favor. Like hell, I came over when he was studying to make a home-cooked dinner, and he decides it's time for jokes, so I put my phone on Don't Disturb for the night and split a bottle of wine with my friend and her roommate. The next morning, he was sending me angry texts demanding I clean his rug because he was still too busy with exams to do it. I was shocked he left it overnight. That's disgusting.
The mess I made.
Yeah, I texted him back saying, "Yeah, so that's the bitch tax, honey. Leave me alone till you're ready to handle your own cooking and cleaning because this bitch isn't anymore. Also, it's vile you left that soaking in all night." He called me and told me that he was okay with doing his own household work, but I did throw a full pot of sauce at the ground, so that's on me to clean up. I told him, "Yeah, no, I'm not comfortable doing chores for you if you see me like your bitch." He told me he didn't, and it was just a trend, and I got pissed off he was playing that TikTok trend BS excuse again, and I told him, "Well, I'm starting a trend called saucing, Whereas a little joke, people throw pasta sauce around. You can't be mad because just a little trend, a little jokey joke, just a little prank, bro. He got really pissed off and hung up on me, and now I'm seriously wondering if this dumb f***ing TikTok joke is gonna be the end of things between us. Am I the asshole now? How I reacted when my boyfriend asked me what's for dinner tonight, bitch? Edit to address a comment I've gotten a lot, and I don't have time to reply every time. But did you tell him not to call you a bitch? Like, how would he know otherwise? Honestly, if someone has gotten to the age of 30 and not realized that women, as a whole, do not like having demeaning slurs used against them, they're beyond my help. This isn't something that needs to be told. I shouldn't have to go through life like, hey man, just in case you were thinking I might like demeaning slurs against my gender used on me, I don't actually. And if you're about to comment something like that, let me just tell you in no uncertain terms, women do not like being called bitches by men. Do not call women bitches. If you needed to be told that it is unkind, consider yourself officially told. Now you have no excuse to not understand.
Yeah.
I think it really hits. I mean, look, it doesn't matter what age he is, but when she's like, yeah, he's 30 years old, I'm like, yeah. A TikTok trend, like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, like, from looking at this one event in a vacuum, like, I'm sure some people could see that and be like, she overreacted. But I guarantee, like, with the way that he talked to her, I'm sure that he's talked in similar ways to her and she's communicated to him that she doesn't appreciate that.
Yeah.
And he's probably ignored it and goes, oh, it's a funny TikTok trend, which is like, what a bad excuse.
It's a bad excuse. The adding of the like, well, now you actually are acting like a bitch.
Yeah, that really sealed it.
That sealed it of like, you probably do talk disrespectfully to her.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be one thing if they joked around together and it was like established that they call each other that kind of thing, but I mean, clearly it completely caught her off guard because this was something that was hard set in stone for her of like, this is not a line that you cross.
Yeah.
So it feels like he should have, I mean, it doesn't say how long they've been together, but it feels like they probably should have, he probably knew.
He probably did know.
You got to test those waters before you bring out the big guns. You know, and that word is one of the big guns. So you gotta make sure that your partner is like chill with that.
But I agree. Like relationships, people in relationships, they gauge like what are we comfortable with joking about and stuff.
Yeah.
And he said a joke that clearly offended her.
Oh yeah.
That he. As we are either assuming or we don't know for sure that it's like there's clearly been stuff before this, and he's not taking her feelings into account.
And a lot of times people joke and use that kind of word with each other because they know, like it's so established that they would never actually mean that, or it's almost funny because they would never say that.
Sure.
But the fact that he's saying it and she feels like he meant it means that there's other stuff that's there.
There's a lot going on, and. What I can't get over is that he did leave the sauce.
He's like, that's for you to clean up. You did that.
Well, yeah, and the fact that he's angry about it.
Yeah.
That he's like, the fact that he got that this happened and his response is anger rather than like apologizing and trying to fix things and just getting angry and sending angry text messages. It's like, I think there's a bit of history here.
Yeah, I feel like it could have been like, immediately, I did not know that was going to offend you, and I'm so sorry. Let's make this right. Yeah. But he doubled down and said, "You are acting like a bitch right now."
Icky.
No, that's where it's. I mean, you lost me before, but like that's what it's like. All right, buddy, you're gone. Some comments here. Not the asshole. I googled the trend, and it is all about seeing how women react to a knowingly offensive comment, and usually they are offended. These jokes aren't funny. Well, you reacted. He got his wish. Effed around and found out he needs to grow up. So he was also clearly filming her.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
She did this.
Yeah, she did mention.
Yeah, he said it was a trend, and
he wanted to get her reaction.
Yeah.
Dude, that's
well, you got it, bro.
So cringy. Not the asshole. And yes, this should be the end of you two. He sounds like a total asshole, and leaving that on the floor overnight is just nasty. Last comment here. Not the asshole. Your gut response, shock and rage at him taking you for granted to the point of demeaning you, was the right one from the beginning. Him leaving the mess overnight, expecting you to come back and clean it up, just confirms it. He doesn't respect you. Yeah.
Yeah. And she probably felt extra disrespected because she probably didn't want to cook him dinner that night, and she was going out of her way.
Yeah, she was helping him out.
Yeah.
He's like, this is gonna give me so much clout.
Yeah, it's gonna be so fun.
Bro.
She's doing this favor for me and I disrespect her.
Yeah, like, look, there's a lot of TikTok trends. A lot of them are totally cool and funny.
Wait, so you're telling me that there's sexist things on TikTok?
Yeah.
What?
It's a good title. Am I the asshole for wearing a white dress to my friend's wedding?
Oh. Dude, why?
Why would you do that?
It's like the one rule.
It's the one rule. And don't wear something close to it. Champagne is kind of white.
Oh.
Ivory is literally white.
Do not do that.
Cream.
Cream is basically white. It is white.
Gray.
Why?
Why would you wear, when did gray look good at a wedding?
That's true.
Okay.
All right, here we go. I, a 20-year-old woman, met my friend Charlotte, who's 21, when I moved into my college dorm in August of 2020. We got along well, shared ideas for how we wanted to divide space and keep things clean/organized, and had similar interests. Within a month, we were studying and hanging out together, and I considered her a good friend. I also met her now husband, Josh, 22. They seemed like a cute and loving couple, and I was very happy when they got engaged Christmas of 2020 after 3.5 years together. Charlotte has spent the last 18 months planning this wedding down to the last detail. I won't say she's obsessive, but it's been intense, and I've tried to help her as best I can with making appointments, managing stress, etc. I also gave her $250 to help pay for the wedding. Her family can only afford part of it, which isn't included in the wedding gift I'm going to give her. A month before the wedding, I was still trying to decide exactly what to wear. I wanted something nice because Charlotte said she would have a photographer, videographer, and wedding painter. I knew Charlotte had a vision for her wedding, and I wanted her as in control as possible for all the details of her special day, so I asked her which dress out of the three I'd narrowed it down to that I should wear. She asked if I would actually pull out all my dresses, so I did. She ended up narrowing it down to one of my picks, along with a dress I had put firmly in the no pile for being white. It was a wedding after all. She told me both dresses were lovely, but that she prefers the white one. I asked if she was sure, and she said yes, and even picked out a pair of pink and white heels from her closet to go with my dress. I figured that was that. Fast forward to last week, I showed up in the dress about a half an hour before the ceremony. I got some weird looks, but no one said anything. In hindsight, this is when I should have realized something wasn't right. When Charlotte comes out of her dressing room for some last-minute pictures, she looks shocked to see me, and then she starts turning red. She pulls me aside and starts going off on me immediately about wearing the dress to her wedding. I'm stunned. I ask her what the problem is because she picked the dress out, and she told me it was a friendship test, and that if we were real friends, then I wouldn't have worn a white dress or her shoes to her wedding. I started laughing because I honestly thought it was a joke, and she screamed at me that I ruined her fucking wedding and to get the fuck out. I flat out told her she was crazy and left, not wanting to fight anymore and not knowing how to deal with what happened. I grabbed my wedding gift for them on the way out. My phone has been flooded with texts, voicemails, and social media notifications from her friends, and her family about what an asshole I am. But I honestly don't see what I did wrong. Am I really the asshole here? Edit. Someone made a comment about how if the bride is wearing white, I should at least be prepared for the weird glances. The bride didn't even wear white. That was another non-traditional thing she did. She wore blue.
Can I just say something? Is she colorblind?
Well, white, I don't think would be a problem.
No, she did it as a friendship test, which I've never, I don't think I've ever experienced.
A friendship test?
A friendship test.
I have.
Oh no.
I'm not friends with them anymore.
Yeah, that's
that
some
makes
weird
sense.
shit. Because you're being a good friend by being like, well, you told me to do this and I'm going to do it.
Would you imagine if she showed up and was like, I knew it was a test. You're so right. I'm wearing black. And it's just like,
thank you for
what?
Thank you for not listening to me in the right way.
What a psychopath.
Yeah, it's some weird shit.
Wait, that's
This
crazy.
is so weird. But also, like, okay, yes, friendship test, friend, bride, very weird behavior from her, but also, why would you even let white be an option to begin with?
Well, she had it in the no pile.
She had it in the no pile, okay.
She had it in the no pile, but her friend was like, oh, this dress, wear this one. And let me get you some matching shoes for it.
That's what's tricky is like, she's the bride. So she's also being like, I really want you to wear this. So she's like, oh, you know, it was in the no pile, okay.
My understanding as far as weddings go is like, if the bride says they want something, that you're doing that. Even if it's like...
That is so wrong.
It's so weird.
Also, she completely embarrassed her.
Yeah. And your friend like gave you money and supported you through your, like, why are you?
This is some weird shit.
This
like,
is so
what a
weird.
weird turn. The verdict is not the asshole.
Yeah.
Comments, not the asshole. I was super ready to say you're the asshole.
Right.
But this chick picked out the dress as a friendship test? That's absolutely bananas. She's an attention-seeking psycho, and I'd say stay as far away from her and any of her flying monkeys as possible. If there are any mutuals you don't want to give up without a fight, maybe make a statement about what she did and how inappropriate her actions were to trick you. Someone else said, not the asshole. If you had worn a different dress, the psycho bride would have said you're the asshole because you didn't wear the dress she picked.
Yep.
This was a setup for you to fail the friendship test either way.
Yep.
OP, don't look back. Lastly, someone said, not the asshole. While I would otherwise say it's a no-brainer not to wear white to someone else's wedding, the fact that she picked the dress means she chose to play mind games, knowing they could potentially ruin her fucking wedding.
Right.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. She should have just communicated like a grown-up.
Like, for what purpose? For what purpose did this woman get?
I don't understand how some people operate.
Well, she gave her a clear sign, and now she's hopefully out of that friendship.
I know, this is very clear that they should not be friends. I mean, like, also, good luck with your wedding, marriage. I don't know, you seem pretty unstable and weird.
Yeah, this is a wife test.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a wife test.
Whatever that looks like.
If I was the husband or the partner and seeing that, I'd be like, you're doing what?
He probably didn't see it. And
Probably has no idea.
And then she was probably like, oh yeah, she's crazy. She showed up in white.
Yeah, I wonder what she's telling everyone.
Okay, wait, also, okay, hold on. Just to play devil's advocate.
Okay.
Just saying, I don't think this girl did anything wrong. But what if there's a whole long history of...
There could be backstory.
There's a lot, maybe
might be right.
maybe the girl's like, dude, you've done this so many times. Maybe this is the official, like the way that the only way that I can see you for who you really are, I guess. I don't know, maybe there's been a lot of history.
You're probably right.
There could be a lot of history, and she doesn't know how to deal with it, and she's gonna do some weird test thing like this to prove something. I don't know, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, but like the base... Even the lead up to do a friendship test and to lie and say, wear this, I didn't want you to listen to me. I'm like, that's weird no matter what.
Right.
And maybe there was stuff that maybe they're both weird and have been doing this, but all we have is that.
I feel like there's history.
I think there's a ton of history, and maybe they do friendship tests on each other.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stories we read where I'm like, oh, you're best friends. Oh, you guys were never friends.
No.
At all.
But I will say, wedding stuff is so tricky and complicated. To test people, like, it's just already a stressful thing, and there's a lot of expectations and a lot of big feelings. And to test someone on your wedding day, like, why would you even want that stress on yourself?
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna get some more details because we're an update.
What?
Okay.
Okay, it's been a crazy few days since I posted that. I had to wait until I was home to read all the comments, and they just kept pouring in. Thank you to everyone who gave me feedback as to why they thought I was or was not the asshole. I texted Charlotte the day after making the post, sometime around 4 p.m., and told her she had 48 hours to tell her friends and family the truth and get them to stop sending me hateful messages, or I'd tell them the truth myself. She told me I had no proof and that no one would believe me. I should have just gone ahead and posted proof, but I wanted things to be ended as diplomatically and non-dramatically as possible. I called her husband around lunchtime 2 days later to see if he could talk some sense into her, and that's when things got weird. I had him on speaker and was recording the convo for extra evidence in case he knew about the dress thing. At this point, I didn't know if he did or didn't. It turns out he did, but when I tried to convince him to talk Charlotte down, he tried to talk me down, saying I need to let it go and just admit I was wrong so everyone can move on. He said, Charlotte can be a little dramatic. You know that. She loves attention. She'll forgive you if you apologize. I told him I didn't do anything wrong, but he said, I know, but just suck it up and apologize anyway. That's what I do. I told him I wasn't going to apologize and that they only had a few hours left before I told the truth for them. And then he offered to sleep with me as an apology.
What? What?
Oh, this man doesn't have any freedom. He has no freedom.
Wait. He's gonna sleep with her?
How is that an apology?
All right.
Yeah.
All right, listen. Look, I'll let you have sex with me.
What the?
As an apology.
All right, come on over, jump on the bed. Let's do this. Just come on.
I told him to F off and hung up. Okay, now we're getting into,
they're into
what
some
the hell's
freaky shit.
What the hell's going on here?
There's some freaky shit.
I waited out the remaining bit of those 48 hours, and then I took to Facebook and posted screenshots of that conversation, plus the couple of times I checked in with her about the dress by text featuring date, time, stamps. I also added the recording of her husband hitting on me.
Hitting on you, honey. It was more than hitting on you.
That was Friday evening. Now it's Monday morning, and I've had to block Charlotte, her husband, and a few of their friends and family who still support them and are cross with me about trying to ruin their marriage. Most people have reached out to apologize, but I'm honestly just thankful this is all over. Hoping my social circle can go back to normal after this and that this will turn into another funny story I can tell friends in the future. Edit, just a note because a lot of people have brought up the $250. No, I haven't gotten it back, but I did send her and her husband a Venmo request for the money back. I'd also like to make it clear to those arguing about it, I didn't give Charlotte the money because she asked for it. I donated it of my own volition because I knew she still had part of the wedding left to pay for, and I wanted to take a tiny bit of stress off of her in that area since I could afford to. Her family wasn't covering 3/4 because it was too expensive. It's because they believe when you get married, you should cover some of the costs yourself as a recognition of the kind of commitment you're making. Charlotte and Joss weren't struggling to afford things. I just wanted to be a good friend because we'd become so close and she was with me through a couple of very hard things these past 2 years. It hurts a lot to have lost her as a friend. She had become the sister I'd always wanted growing up, and it really feels like I lost a family member here. Yeah, but you're walking away from something real weird.
Is happening?
The husband, what the hell?
I'll sleep with you. All right, I'll give it up. Like, what are we discussing?
No.
Who are these people?
I don't know.
This is what I think is him saying that.
Yeah.
I think Charlotte knows her husband is like not really on her side and maybe knows that he's into OP. And so she just probably has had this like boiling disdain, maybe.
Oh, maybe that's the history.
That's a theory.
Yeah.
That's a theory. Because for him to just outright be like, I'll sleep with you, is like, okay, so he's really into you. And I don't know, I think she might be aware.
I think they bring other people in the bedroom.
Yeah.
And there's like some really deep like history there.
There's something going on with this because those are some weird things thrown into this.
This is very, very weird.
It's weird.
It does not feel like it's of this earth.
Yes.
It feels like another universe, planet type of thing. I have never heard something so insane in my life. This is insane.
I know, I've never had like the option to be like, I'm so sorry, I'll sleep with you. like to make it up to you, I'll sleep with you. It's like, whoa.
Oh, that'll make it better.
Who are you? Who are you? Why would I say yes? Who are you?
Dude, she dodged a bullet. Could you imagine?
But I'm just
still friends with them?
I'm confused because she's like, this person has been like a family member, like a sister.
I know, man.
So how did it get to this point? There must be so much of other things that we just don't know about this.
Yeah, no, the husband's comment makes me like, what's going on here?
Yes. Yes.
Second friendship test?
Oh my God.
No.
That's what I was thinking. Another friendship test.
No, literally, they could be that f***ed up for the husband to say, I'll sleep with you. And what if she was like, okay. And then Charlotte's like, and that's another friendship test that you failed. It's like, what? That actually, that makes sense because nothing else makes sense.
Nothing makes sense. Why are there so many tests? Why?
Why are we going to school?
Why are we in school? Get over it. Be grown up.
Be grown.
Up. Be grown up.
The only thing that OP, I think, went a little overboard is, in a lot of states, it is illegal to record someone and then post it.
They're not from California, that's for sure.
Yeah, but maybe they're in a state where they're allowed. I do think he was crazy for what he said. That's the craziest shit that happened in this. But, like, she really did, like, go above and beyond to... She knew what she was doing there. I mean, this friend is already insane. I can't say I'm sitting here upset at what she did. It's already so messy that it's like, all right, you're hopping in the mess yourself. But
But Facebook.
It's wild. It is one of those, it's like I said earlier, where I'm like, were you guys actually friends? Like, you're saying you were there for each other at hard times, but you both are, you guys are trying to kill each other now.
Yeah.
There's way more to this story.
This feels like what would happen, like the Mean Girls sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when they're
R-rated.
really grown up.
Yeah.
Open
The
relationship.
Burn Book?
Wild.
Don't know what I was going to do after that, but.
Imagine like one of us just just started posting this on Facebook.
Look, I gotta be honest.
That's what Facebook is.
If I saw that post and it was someone I knew, even remotely, I'd be all in.
Oh, I'd be listening. I'd be like, wow, he's crazy. Let me text him.
I think they need to be casted for like Real Housewives of Salt Lake City or something.
True.
You're right. This is some reality TV.
This is reality TV.
What the was that?
Dude, that was so
fucking weird.
Some people are insane.
Like this almost feels like a lie. Like it feels like she's lying about it.
Because they're in their like early 20s. I learned throughout my 20s, sometimes in life stuff just happens to you. You're thrust into like weird situations that you can't avoid. But I have learned that there are a lot of people who love to just fuck shit up.
No, it's weird.
Where I'm like, your wedding could have been great. You decided to make it fucking crazy.
Are they from England?
I don't think
cross. She's cross.
So it's a 25-year-old man. I have the chance to date my old high school crush, a 25-year-old woman, but I'm engaged to my fiance, a 24-year-old woman. What do I do?
I love you.
Guys, what does he do?
Let me find the answer. Like, what?
I had a crush on this girl, Carla, since middle school, going into high school, but she never paid me no mind. I left for the military and met Sarah, who is a nurse and wants to become a doctor-nurse practitioner. Sarah was the usual type of girl I dated. I left the military to do contracting work and moved back to my home state. One day, while I was getting drinks at the bar, Carla was my bartender. She didn't recognize me, but when I told her my name, she couldn't believe it. She said she couldn't believe how much I changed. I started becoming a regular and eventually exchanged contact information with her to catch up. Throughout this time, she told me she has a crush on me, even though she knows I have a fiance. She said she likes how driven I am. Now I'm conflicted. She says that she will give me time to think about what I want to do. My fiance and I are doing great, but I feel like she's normally the type of woman I always get. With Carla, I never had the opportunity or thought that I would. I don't want to hurt Sarah, but I feel like I would regret this forever if I don't pursue it.
I hate this. That's it? Oh, my God.
Okay, can I say something kind of controversial? Not, you'll see where I'm going. You're going to see where I'm going. If I was in this subreddit.
We know who your wife is.
Yes. If I was in this subreddit, if I happen to come across this post, I'm not someone who posts on Reddit. I just read shit like this and I'm like, that's crazy, and I move on. But, and I'm curious if one of the commenters might do this, I might tell him, be like, go for the bartender.
Yeah.
Because
it's no skin off our back.
This woman needs to not be with this guy. Mm-hmm. He's going to cheat on her eventually. Oh. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's an absolute red flag. He is going to cheat on his wife. The way he's talking about his wife is so disrespectful.
Yeah, you're right.
The way he's like, oh yeah, she's the type I usually get. But now I have an opportunity.
I wasn't even like listening to
what he's saying.
That's my eyes, yeah.
What he's saying is he's waiting for that opportunity for the rest of his life.
You are so right. What do you think? You're upset. You're visibly human.
Yeah, I find it so like
he's a piece of shit.
Yeah,
let's be clear.
It took him just one girl who never paid him any attention and be like, oh, you're kind of cute, and then suddenly he's like, what if I don't want to get married?
Yeah,
that's crazy. Yeah,
he's like, well, something's wrong with her because she didn't give me attention, and I have to fix that before I go down the aisle.
It's already in cheating territory because he clearly became a regular to go and talk to her, right? Like this is already at a stage where if he told his wife what he's been doing, she might be like, I'm calling off this marriage because this is a red flag. Like, it's already in that territory.
Yeah.
Did you already say that the girl was saying she's waiting for what he's going to do?
She said, yeah, now I'm conflicted. She says that she will give me time to think about what I want to do. She's also toxic.
So she's part of, the situation.
She's toxic, but...
I also feel like Maybe it's like in media, but I feel like the like someone who it didn't work with, like the person that's what was it? The person that
the one that got away.
The one that got away is so romanticized, and sometimes 100%. It's like he's like this is pretty romantic that it never really worked, and maybe there is something there. Because in my head, it's like sometimes I'm like, oh, you know. Like maybe that is, I don't know, like just reading it, I'm like, oh, despite how disrespectful this man is, it's like, oh, maybe, yeah, I guess you should check that out. But that's like so over dramatized and just like a fairy tale.
Well, if you knew someone back in middle school and you haven't seen them in 10 years, that's a different person now.
Exactly, you're not gonna be like, you're the exact same you were during kickball.
Yeah, and, but also, I think it's very clear what he's really talking about is looks. He's not talking about like, oh yeah, she's someone I gel with and like we get along so much better. He's just like, oh, she's not the type. It's you're only talking about looks.
Yeah.
And so
and he's like giving himself permission to do it because it didn't work before.
Yeah. He's trying to make himself seem like he's in the clear for this for some reason. I just want his fiance to find out.
Yeah.
So that, because I think even if he goes, oh, you know what, never mind, that's enough already to be like, hey, you should rethink this guy.
Is there an update? There's an update then, right? Oh, no.
This is my favorite kind of shit.
Oh, no.
Let's read some comments.
Oh,
here.
no.
Starting to become a regular at the bar. No, you're going to visit your crush. Exchange numbers while in a relationship. Cheating is a series of choices, and it starts here. You know, most people wait for these types of opportunities when their high school crush or bully meets them later in life, and they get their glow-up revenge, double middle fingers in the air, because now they look better and are doing better in life than their high school counterpart. Instead of doing that, you're thinking about trying to get laid by someone who didn't give you the time of day in high school while you have a fiance. The joke is you'll end up with neither of them. OP responded, what are you talking about? In a later comment, he said, he said, neither Carla or I are looking for sex. She was clear that she wants a relationship. Okay, yeah. Oh, guys, don't worry.
Yeah, she doesn't want sex.
She just wants to hold hands.
Someone said, by all means, break up so your fiance can find someone worthy of her because you aren't.
Yeah.
Lastly, someone said, Sarah deserves someone who actually loves her, not someone who is afraid he is settling for her. She deserves to know you're not fully committed to her. This warrants a conversation with her, to say the least. Yeah. I like our producer put down, this is some Casa Amor nonsense.
Ah, that is so true.
Got a Love Island reference. Yeah, this is crazy, man. And it's very true. It's like he's going to end up with neither. He's messed up. He's waiting for his opportunity to leave because he's just waiting for someone that he deems better than his fiance. I do think this high school crush's behavior is weird too. To be like, hey, I know you have a fiance, but I have a crush on you, and I'll give you some time to think about it.
Yeah, like I'm hoping the update is that he goes back to her and she's like, I don't know what the f I was thinking. You're a psychopath, and I'm going to DM your wife.
I saw a video.
Yeah.
Some loyalty test. Okay, update.
Here we go.
Here we go. All right. Less than a month later, he posts, I broke her heart. I love Sarah so much, and I stupidly called off the wedding to be with my old crush a few weeks ago. Throughout the couple weeks, Carla used me as a piggy bank. That's all I fucking was to her. I spoiled her, paid for her hair, nails, etc. I gave her everything. I found out she used the money I zelled her to buy a ticket for some guy to come see her. I'm sick to my stomach. I reached out to Sarah, but she feels betrayed and said she doesn't want to be sloppy seconds. But she's not. I love her and needed this to realize.
Shut up.
There's
not you, him.
Shut up. There's always the likelihood on Reddit that posts are fake. I will say, though, I know of instances of something just like this happening. It's amazing to me how much this does really happen in life, where someone cheats and they come back and they go, I just needed this.
I mean, it's Casa Amor. It's like,
I needed this for my journey.
Yeah.
To realize actually that I want to be with you. It happens a lot, and it's shocking that people get that delusional in those spaces.
Where like for some sick reason, like we all like sometimes want what we can't have, and sometimes what we have feels too safe for some like I'm trying to like justify, not because I agree, but like only just because
you get too comfortable with what you have, and then you see something new, you're like, oh, I want to touch it.
I don't know, but it's just like that's what I mean. If it didn't happen here, it was going to happen again later.
Yeah.
And honestly, if he got back with Sarah, he'll cheat on her again, unless he really gets out of the mindset that he's in. But he's going to always do this.
Yeah.
In his current state. Some comments. Have you ever heard the phrase, play stupid games, win stupid prizes? If your ex-fiance has any self-respect, she won't take you back. You've already discarded her. Leave her alone.
I've never heard that phrase.
Yeah, what is that?
No, it's really sick.
OP responded, I love her. I know I made a dumb choice, but the few weeks without her reminded me why I fell in love with her. Tons of downvotes on that. Someone said to that, if your crush hadn't used you as a sugar daddy, would you still want her?
Yes, that's so true.
Yeah.
He's just pissed that like he bought her nails and she's not into him. And she used that money to get somebody else. That's why he's pissed.
That's why he wants to go back.
Yeah. Yeah. He fucked up. Am I the asshole for telling my mom to never touch my stuff again after she lost my Louis Vuitton bag? Okay, so I, a 15-year-old girl, have always wanted a Louis Vuitton purse. I've always wanted something expensive of my own, as all my things are hand-me-downs from my older sisters, as we are not the richest of people. Eventually, I decided that if I wanted my purse, I'd get it myself. So I got a job at a local restaurant and started to save up my money. While I worked, I looked at purses and decided that I liked a little bag. It was expensive, but after a few months, I had the money. I quickly went and bought my bag. I didn't even let my family touch it when I got home. I didn't even wear it for the first week as I was too scared to damage it. One day after school, I came back home and went into my room to look at my bag, but when I got in, it was gone from its place on my desk. I looked around my room to see if I'd moved it and just forgot, but I couldn't find it. I went out and asked my sisters, but they said that they hadn't touched it, so I went and found my mom. I asked her if she'd seen my bag, and she said she'd shown it to her friend, and her friend had liked it and asked if she could borrow it. My mom had said yes. I hadn't even used it yet. So to say the least, I wasn't pleased by this news. I blew up at my mom, telling her not to touch my stuff, and she said that her friend would treat it well, and I was being dramatic. I got grounded and was told to stay in my room since I was acting like a child over a bag. The next day, I asked my mom about the bag, and she had an uncomfortable look on her face. Instantly, I knew something was wrong. She wouldn't say anything, but after a while, she'd finally admitted that her friend had lost the bag, and she didn't plan on replacing it. I was furious. I exploded at her, saying that she and her friends shouldn't have touched it in the first place and to never touch my things again. I also said some other hurtful things that I don't care to repeat. I ended up making her cry, and my sisters are calling me an asshole because it was just a bag and I was being dramatic. So am I the asshole?
Yikes.
Dang, that's so devastating. Like, I remember when I got my first job and like the first things that I bought for myself and how proud I was to have those things and for those things to be mine. Because I'm number 5 out of 7 kids. Like, it wasn't a long time until I actually had like my own new clothes. So I feel for her.
No, definitely. I think something that's being discounted a lot, I think by the mom and by the mom's friend and potentially other people in the story as well, is the age of this person. Like she's 15, so I think a lot of people are like, oh, you're being silly, oh, you're being this. And it's like, it's a very real thing to care about a material item and make it this like prized possession that you are really delicate around. And then to have somebody truly be so careless with it, like that would upset anybody.
Yeah, like if it was a person and another person who weren't related or like they're both adults, like this would be not okay. Like at all. But because she's the daughter, she's the kid, like.
Yeah, and it's not just a bag that she lost. She lost a ton of time she put in.
Right.
You know, she got a job for this. She put in months of work for this. That's now kind of wasted. You know, maybe someday, you know, when she's an adult, if she's making more money, then you could almost make the argument more of like, well, it's not as much of a commitment out of your life, but this was she dedicated months of her life to this thing, and then her mom goes and just loses it.
Right, which what a contradictory lesson to be teaching your kids as well. Like, she's clearly understanding the value of money. She also wasn't like desperate to get this bag by like begging for money. She like went out, she got a job, she earned it. And then now here's her parent being like, oh, whatever, it's not that big of a deal.
It's really sad because like you'd think a parent would be so proud of her and would treat this with seriousness because it's like, wow, you really did the most mature thing. You went out and you worked hard for something you wanted and you afforded a Louis Vuitton bag at 15 years old. That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
You deserve this. And so the mom is just really kind of an irresponsible, immature person.
I hope that maybe the mom can like make it up to her one day, or like I don't. And also, I'm like, I'm not satisfied with that answer of like, oh, she doesn't have any plans of replacing it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm literally sorry. You took a child's like expensive belonging, and you're like, it's just like a lack of respect.
Right.
Well, some comments have some theories.
Okay.
Because one of the top comment is, dude, your mom sold your bag. Which I am like, if I don't know their situation, but I mean, there are some greedy parents out there. Someone else said, OP, your mother is a dirty, lying thief.
Whoa.
You are not the asshole. I would make sure you separate your bank account ASAP because she will take your wages when you have too much saved. Lastly, someone said, not the asshole. If you can, please file a police report. I know it may not be easy, but try. Don't let this die down. You are owed your Louis Vuitton bag. Please update us. Be safe.
Whoa.
That is true. It's shocking in this industry. You know, when I was acting before I was 18 and tons of my friends were under 18 acting, it's shocking how prevalent parents stealing from their kids is. It's like, it's a very common thing. It's mind-blowing to me.
Yeah,
because that goes against what you'd think. You know, I don't have kids, but like you'd think a parent would be like, "Oh, great, this money for my kid that my kid has made for themselves so that they have a good life." It's wild.
My mind didn't even go there. I mean, but I guess I see maybe where people are theorizing, especially with the idea of like she has no like plans to replace it.
Yeah.
If it truly was a mistake, she would have definitely just been like, let me buy you a new one. I am the parent after all.
Right.
Ugh,
No, I mean, either way, regardless of how or why, it was such massive disrespect.
Yeah, like the fact that she hadn't been able to use it yet. And the fact that it was like she would keep it and like she just wanted to come home and look at it. Like, can you imagine your daughter is so like treats this thing so preciously, and like the fact that it was probably still like had its box or its packaging or whatever probably made it very appealing to someone to want to sell it.
And it's also like that is huge, that aspect of like just wanting to look at it. Like it might seem silly, like if you're just looking at it simply, it might be, oh, here's this 15-year-old girl looking at a bag. And it's like, no, this does represent a lot. It represents her hard work. It represents her being able to get this for herself. And now it's representing her responsibility and ability to just be gentle with this item that she now owns. It is actually a huge milestone for her.
Yeah, and luckily, based on only this small story, I think this OP is going to be fine. They sound like they're such a hard worker and such a smart individual. They're in such a crappy situation, but I do believe when they're 18, they're going to be able to hopefully get out of this situation. It's sad that I think the best advice is the like separate your bank accounts. Like you're going to have to be more secretive because clearly your mom does not respect you or your money or your belongings. That sucks.
And also just to like... How embarrassing for the mom to be like, my friend is borrowing it, but don't worry, it'll be fine. And then the very next day being like, yeah, well,
None of it
lost
makes sense. None of it makes sense. Why is your friend borrowing a Louis Vuitton bag that was in your room? I do think all facts point to the mom probably did do something shady here.
And the clue, like, and the fact
sense.
that the OP noted that her mom was quiet and had like an expression on her face for a long time. It was like, okay, so she's lying.
Yeah, I could see it.
Sucks. Well, the verdict was obviously not the asshole.
Yeah.
Love to get an update on that and see what happens, but I think the mom probably
Sounds like they sold it, or the friend sold it.
Louis Vuitton, you have 24 hours to respond.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Give her the bag. Yeah, the story was only 3 weeks ago, so there's no update on this.
Okay.
But
get your bag.
I feel bad for her. Am I the asshole for wanting to sleep in comfortable pajamas at my boyfriend's house? Okay. So last night was my 24-year-old woman first sleepover with my new boyfriend, who's 29, of 2 months. He bought me a gift of lingerie. It is beautiful, but not comfortable. I think of this particular lingerie as the sort of thing you only wear for 5 minutes at a time when your partner takes it off. Ha ha. Which is essentially what happened. I wore the lingerie for him, he took it off, we were intimate, it was lovely. But then the trouble started when we were ready to sleep. I went to put on the pajamas I packed, which is men's boxers. I bought it specifically for pajamas, it wasn't an X's or anything. And a t-shirt I got from the beach. This is the sort of thing I always wear to sleep, and I didn't think it should be any different with my boyfriend. But he asked why I didn't put the lingerie back on. Did I not like it? I said that I loved it, but it was a bit scratchy to actually sleep in. He said, what the hell was my outfit? Why was I dressed like a man? I said I always sleep in stuff like this, except when it's cold, I wear footy pajamas. He said that's fine when I'm alone, but when I'm with him, it makes him feel sick to his stomach to see me dressed like a man. So I caved and put the lingerie back on. I'm now lying awake because the lingerie is scratching my nethers. He is my first boyfriend I could actually sleep over with. I've been single since high school, so I admit I don't really know the etiquette. Am I the asshole?
What is happening? What is actually...
I'm unwell.
What are we discussing?
This is so...
What year is it?
Freaked up.
This is so freaked up. Nobody wears lingerie to bed.
Yeah.
No one's like, dude, okay, bedtime. No.
No one does that.
Nobody does that.
This guy is a piece of shit, especially like after they got intimate, he's still like...
Put it back on? Are you
put it
serious?
back on. Like, I'm like...
He sounds a little homophobic.
Well, yeah, he doesn't like her dress. Like, you're dressed like a man?
Yeah.
Oh, like, what the fuck? It's just like, dude.
I'm really upset. I want to... This person, you are so stupid. You are literally stupid, and you should be ashamed of yourself. Why don't you put on the lingerie if you like it so much?
That is so true. I would love to see a man put on lingerie and go to bed.
Go to bed.
It takes forever to put on. What are we discussing?
If you're wearing a thong to sleep,
good night.
Good night.
Well, not
good luck.
good night.
Good night? Well, not good night. Good luck.
Good luck.
Good luck to you. You don't wear thongs, and well, some people wear bras to bed. That's fine.
That's fine. It's uncomfortable.
Well, the point is when you're going to bed, you want to wear what's comfortable.
Exactly.
That's the whole point. You're trying to be as comfortable as possible for sleeping.
How long have they been dating? Did they
2
say?
2 months.
Oh.
I'm really upset.
He's out of here.
You suck.
Yeah.
You fucking suck.
This is intense. Yeah, this is ridiculous.
I don't like this at all.
My blood is boiling.
Etiquette. That's hard.
This is weird.
Put it back on.
I feel bad for her because she's like, this is the first time I've slept over at someone's house. She's like, I've been single since high school. She's 24. So I understand she probably is just like, oh my gosh, I'm with someone. This is like, this is so great. I'm with someone, but it's like, it's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
This guy is gonna get so much worse.
How is she gonna like fart in this relationship?
He sounds very controlling.
He sounds, well, he's objectifying the shit out of her. He has no idea how women actually operate.
No.
I don't know. He wants her to be attractive all the time.
But he's gonna be asleep.
Yeah, it's just like, dude, you're going to bed. Like, all it's about is comfort now.
You're not gonna even see her because your eyes are closed.
I just don't like any part of this at all.
No, it's sad. He's 29.
Oh, God.
Acting this way.
Oh, no.
It's bad. That's really bad.
I have so much to say, but I won't.
Correct.
It's all in my head.
Side opinion, this definitely depends on the relationship. I mean, everyone operates different. 2 months, like the first time sleeping over at his place, buying her a set of lingerie feels kind of weird.
A little too early.
Yeah, I'm like, first time sleeping over at his place and he's buying you a lingerie set.
No.
That just feels like a little too like full on focused on the sexual.
Right.
And not like, oh, let's like have a good like chill time right now.
I feel like buying lingerie is like a very vulnerable, special thing.
Yes.
And 2 months in,
feels
a little like.
I think it's way too fast. But it does. This guy is giving like he's very much thinking of like what the internet and what media has told him, like,
Right.
oh,
Yeah.
I'm being a man. And
Yeah.
This is, I don't know.
It's very.
It's very toxic.
It's very like movie, like this is what you saw in a movie, that this guy did that.
The
and
pressure
like,
he's already putting on her is ridiculous. The comments, not the asshole. If he's against you sleeping in a shirt and boxers because of aesthetics, what the hell else would he control? Maybe he should sleep in lingerie for one night and rethink his asshole opinion. Sleepwear isn't meant to be sexy. OP responded, I wish he would just try the lingerie on to see what it feels like, but maybe that wouldn't be fair because he is male and has a different situation in that region than me. But the lingerie digs into me really bad because it's a bodysuit type and I'm tall. They make these for average height women. And he said that the reason it doesn't fit is because I'm too fat for it.
Whoa! Missed out on that.
I probably should have included that in the first post, maybe. It is a size large, and I'm more of an XL, but I think my proportions would be that of an average height size L. I don't think I'm fat. I'm more curvy/chubby, and I thought that was his type because his ex-wife has a similar body type.
Oh, it's already done. It's done.
That's done.
Dude.
Not the asshole. He is controlling and manipulating you into doing what he wants because you feel bad. Take that shit off and put on the comfy clothes. If his masculinity is that fragile, then you need to run from this boy child.
2 months in, called her fat? I mean, never call them fat, ever, but like 2 months in?
Like just the first time.
Damn,
like,
bro.
This guy's just immediately the worst human. I think it's like, yes, never. But if he's that comfortable saying that now, how much worse is he about to be? OP responded to that one saying, haha, that is what I did. If he says a bad word to me about it tomorrow, I am not going to sleep over again and consider breaking up. She should just break up with him.
100%. I would have been fucking out of there.
He fucking sucks. He's a piece of shit.
I will say though, I always say like I would have been out of there, but it's really overwhelming when this happens to you because we want to be like, oh, she should have left. But I do think it's really hard in the moment because you're like, I've invested 2 months. My friends and family kind of know about this person. I'm embarrassed that he said this because I didn't expect him to say that.
Right.
So many things.
I also relate to her where I was single until like around her age as well. And the fear of being single starts to become so great that you'll tolerate anything from someone just to be with someone.
It's really
because
tricky.
you do start to believe like, well, I'm never going to be with anyone.
Yeah.
So if this is the best that I can get,
let's go.
It's never that. It's not the case.
It's not the case.
It's also truly like I look back and I'm like, oh, it would have been better to be single.
Sometimes we have to give people grace and
totally.
Like I'm speaking to myself because I'm like, oh girl, get out of there. But I'm just like, wait a second, give grace. It's really disheartening and a bit shocking when someone calls you fat when you're in a vulnerable place, sleeping over their place. It's not even her home.
Right. Update.
Oh my God.
A few people asked me to update them with my boyfriend's reaction when he wakes up, but since my post was deleted for Rule 8, I figured I should post the update over here so this one doesn't get deleted too. After reading everyone's responses, I decided it's over between the two of us, whether he tries to apologize for the stunt he pulled or not. So a few hours after I posted, I woke up to the sound of my boyfriend quietly sobbing. I roll over toward him and he's like, why can't you do this one thing for me? All I want is for my woman to look like a woman because I'm not gay.
Okay.
What?
I think he needs to sleep with a man and get it over with.
What's happening?
I told him that I'm done, and he started throwing a tantrum like a 2-year-old. I didn't even bother to listen to it. I had gathered my stuff together before I went to sleep, so I just picked up my backpack and left. Went home, picked up beer, pizza, and ice cream on the way, put on some cartoons, and was chilling all afternoon. Then my friend who works at Spencer's texted me.
Spencer's.
I've got some gifts for you.
Yeah.
Apparently my ex had come in and tried to return the lingerie. Obviously, they could only give him store credit because it was out of the box, and he started throwing yet another childish tantrum. He had to be escorted out of the store by a mall cop. Thanks to y'all, I dodged a bullet with this man baby. He obviously has some serious issues, and I don't think I'm the right person to help with them. I just really feel bad for his kids and his ex-wife who are stuck with him.
Oh my God.
This guy
He's
has
29?
Kids. This guy has kids.
Why are you buying lingerie at Spencer's? I thought it had like gifts.
I thought that too.
I thought it had like
don't know.
lava lamps.
Yeah, I thought it had lava lamps.
I haven't been to a Spencer's Gifts in forever.
I thought
I didn't know they were still around. I didn't think they existed either.
Which makes me think that this lingerie is super uncomfortable.
It's probably really cheap.
I mean, I don't know. This guy clearly is super insecure.
Yeah.
And he's taking it all out on.
But like, what's
any
going
woman.
on with this whole like?
That's a really intense thing to wake up and he's
and-
crying and he's just like so scared. Well, I mean, I think a lot of dudes, what it really boils down to, they're so afraid of being gay at all, or even being perceived as being gay. It's like their greatest fear. That's like the ultimate homophobia for a lot of men.
Yeah.
And so
Which is not what she was
let it turn him into a monster.
Okay.
Instead of just like not caring.
Yeah. It's too far gone for this.
This guy, honestly.
This actually makes me feel very, very bad for his family and him.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's a core of it where I feel bad for him, right? Because that comes from a place of severe insecurity.
deeply insecure.
But if he's not going to try to do anything about it and acknowledge that it's his problem,
yeah.
he's going to take it out on other people, then he's an asshole.
Yep. Correct.
Well, I'm glad she got out.
Yeah.
She got some beer, some pizza.
Oh, I
some
love that.
I love that for her too.
She was like, peace out, buddy.
Pretty sick. My boyfriend gave me a pros and cons list about me as part of our anniversary present.
Oh.
Wow. That's stellar. Woo. Mm-hmm. Happy anniversary. You don't do the dishes.
I have some notes.
Okay.
Great first year.
Here we
Oreo.
go. I met my boyfriend on Tinder in the beginning of my freshman year of college. I was a very naive 18-year-old. I'd been on dates, but I'd never been in a relationship, and I hadn't even had my first kiss yet. I was pretty miserable my first couple of weeks after moving in, and so I got Tinder, and there I matched with a bunch of guys who went to my school. One of them I thought was pretty attractive. He was a junior and a brother in a good but notorious frat. He told me to come to his frat parties, so I went with some girls I'd met at orientation. There he took me upstairs and we made out, but I think he could tell I was very inexperienced, so nothing more happened. I pretty much fell in love with him, even though we'd said about 3 words to each other. I didn't see him until a couple of weeks later when he invited me to a party he was throwing. I was expecting us to at least hook up, but when we got there, he was clearly with another girl, and there were tons of other random girls who I assume he was also hooking up with. I was naive, but not an idiot, so I forced myself to get over it, and I didn't see him until my spring semester, when I drank too much and he ended up at my dorm, and I lost my virginity to him. I didn't see him again until the fall semester of my sophomore year. We hooked up the first week we were back on campus. I still didn't catch feelings again, though, until we started to hook up regularly every week. At that point, I was again pretty much in love with him, although this time I did have reasons beyond just him being a large, attractive, popular man. We weren't dating, but we got to know each other, and I saw his many virtues. However, it was still clear to me that he wasn't into me in that way, and that I was one of a number of women he was sleeping with, so I didn't say anything and I kept it casual. He also had a pretty terrible reputation as a boy, even amongst his frat brothers. His Instagram comments were usually filled with them saying things like, horniest man alive, and all 2,500 of his followers are his girlfriends. He graduated at the end of that spring semester, and we saw each other one last time before. It was incredibly intimate and really cemented everything I felt for him. So after we both left campus, I confessed to him that I really liked him, and that I wasn't okay with just hooking up with him anymore, for my own sanity. Miraculously, he said he also had feelings for me, and he asked me out on a real date. We started dating and have been together since, and the whole time has been healthy and happy for us. Last Thursday was our 1-year anniversary of becoming official. He got me an incredibly thoughtful gift basket, including some jewelry, a painting, and a card. In the card, though, was a printed picture of a pros and cons list on a whiteboard. He explained to me that he saw my confessional message when he was hanging out with his brother. My boyfriend said he really didn't know what to do and wasn't sure if he wanted anything more with me, but he was tired of sleeping around and wanted a stable relationship. So his brother said he should make a pros and cons list of me, and he did. Here's a paraphrase of the list. Pros: cute, great ass, good in bed, horny, likes me a lot, sweet, lots of friends, doesn't go out too much, close to her family, really smart and academically successful, good future ahead of her, and definitely not a gold digger, would do wifey duties. Cons: kind of a slut, met on Tinder, frat rat, blacks out a lot, doesn't care a lot about her appearance, kind of nerdy. Based on that, he apparently decided to ask me out to dinner and then decided what to do based on how it went. And it went well enough that we started dating. He showed it to me with nothing but good intentions, but I was absolutely floored for obvious reasons. I have been pretending to be sick since then as I figure out what to do. On the one hand, he is my dream man, and I am so glad to be with him. He has been nothing but incredible to me, and we have a great relationship. And logically, I know that he wasn't in love with me or anything when he asked me out, as I'm sure he had some idea of how I felt, and he never did anything about it. But it still hurts to think that his feelings towards me were so ambivalent that he needed a goddamn pros and cons list to just ask me out. I can't really talk about this to anyone in my life, as a lot of them already dislike him, and I don't want to bias them anymore. So I thought I would ask here, what can I possibly do? I like to think that I have more self-respect than this, but I really love him and don't want to cause conflict in our relationship over something he definitely didn't think would hurt me.
I love that it was like him trying to buy the right Kia Optima or something. It was like good airbags, great mileage,
awesome ass,
awesome
like
ass.
the Kia.
Holy shit, man.
Yeah.
To then be like, yeah, I can't show it to my friends because none of them like him. And I'm just like, I wonder why.
Huh.
Oh, that's straight.
It's like, oh, he's your dream man, but your dream man like decided to be with you because he wanted to settle down and you were right there.
Yeah, well, it's time. I don't know. It's hard because clearly this person is so young. And it's the kind of thing where like they're gonna look back 5 years from now, hopefully less, and be like, oh my God, what was I thinking, you know? But it's those kind of lessons you need to learn. There's all sorts of things where she has just been emotionally tied to this person and he's been kind of her only source of any kind of physical romance.
Right.
So like, it's natural to feel that way. Like my first relationship in college, I was a freshman, she was a senior, and when she graduated and moved away, I had that thought of like, damn, am I supposed to like ask her to marry me? Like this could be it. I feel emotions for the first time. And it's like, no, motherfucker, you've been in a relationship for 3 months and you're gonna meet other people. Like, but you have that feeling. So I feel bad for this person.
Yeah, there's definitely a naivete. I do feel bad for her. God, for him to then give it to her.
That's crazy.
As a gift and be like, look, I decided to date you.
I looked past all this stuff.
It's like, holy shit. That means he's like standing by what he wrote on that whiteboard. He's like, yeah, so like, you know, even though you're kind of a slut.
That's the big one for me too.
It's crazy.
He's known as the horniest man alive among all of his frat bros, but he's like, you know, she's kind of a slut. I'm like, great, why don't you both be then?
It's that thing that you always say of like, you're young. What are we doing?
No, if someone disrespects, I mean, they could disrespect you half as much as this and it'd be worth leaving. It's like, yeah, you're 22. Don't do this. Don't.
Yeah.
Don't. Like, you're gonna trust that this guy's gonna change?
Maybe, but not with you.
Not with you, and probably not anytime soon.
No.
Like, that's with that blatant of behavior.
Yeah.
No, this guy's a mess. And he's only gotten affirmation to act like this for so long. He has been conditioned to be this way so hardcore that one person is not gonna change it.
No.
He's not gonna probably change until late 20s, early 30s at best.
Yeah, I'm like, I see a 40-year-old man being like, damn,
it's crazy. It's possible he'll keep getting away with this.
He can't keep getting away with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this is insane. Bunch of comments. Yet you were a virgin the first time you guys had sex. Yeah, that sounds like a real slut to me. I mean, that's what's also kind of confusing. It's like, this is none of this tracks. Someone said, these dudes invite these girls to their parties and then call them frat rats. Jeez. Someone said, boy math.
Yeah.
Someone said, my daughter's boyfriend once gave her a list of her cons. She was heartbroken. I'll tell you what I told her. No matter what you did in the past, you deserve better in the future. Thankfully, she listened to me, and 10 years later, she has a fantastic husband with 2 children. I don't even know you, and I can honestly say that you not only deserve someone better, but that you're too good for him. There's no excuse for giving lists out unless everything on it is good, especially for an anniversary gift. Lastly, someone said, yikes on bikes. This story is nothing but red flags. You need to get some self-love because the bar you have is literally down in hell.
And they brought a shovel.
All right. Do we like yikes on bikes or sweet bees better?
Sweet bees is awesome.
I
Sweet
literally...
bees.
Well, sweet bee.
Yikes on bikes.
Oh, honey buns. I kind of like them both. I know I said that earlier, but like I say like stuff like that all the time. Like, oh, beans. Like, oh, biscuits.
Yeah.
I like cute curses.
What would you do? Okay, hypothetical here.
Okay.
If you found a pros and cons list that a partner made for you.
Okay.
How would you handle that? Like now, obviously, if they because if they give you this as an anniversary gift, I think that's crazy.
That's nuts.
Right.
I don't think there's anything. The problem is a pros and cons list is always fine, but it's the things he's writing that are super disrespectful and insane.
Yeah. It's very judgmental because, like, when it comes to cons, like, it's never gonna feel good. But I love communication. When you're dating somebody or you're with a partner, it's like, hey, you know, sometimes I've noticed when you say this thing, it sounds kind of like this. Is that what you're meaning? Or, you know, is there something I can do better? Like, that stuff is not easy, but it's so workable, and you can both be so comfortable and happy when you find that right level of communication. But him just being like, slut, frat rat, like all these things, it's huge judgments on her as, like, you know, a person, and being like kind of nerdy, like will do wifely duties. Like, this is all like objectifying in a really gross way.
All of it, literally all of it, because even academically successful, it's not like, oh, she has this cool dream and she really goes for it. It's like, it's all about her achievements. It's all objective.
It makes him look. There's no soul involved.
Also,
a con is, while she's cleaning.
One of his cons is met on Tinder. It's like, you were there too. No, this reeks of like the worst kind of misogyny that is just, it's just not worth trying to fix.
Like, I feel like a pros and cons list is something that you can do as a self-exercise if you're at a spot where it's like, am I about to like end this?
Right.
Like if you're deeply confused and you need to write out like what you need, that's a personal thing that you can do.
To write out a pros and cons list in order to decide if you're gonna date someone is, I think, a little bit
crazy.
weirder.
Yes.
That's something.
It's like an end of. It's like the last straw, kind of like, well, let me see what.
And those pros and cons need to be like detailed, specific things, not great ass.
Yeah.
Dude.
Well, she's got banging baps. She does eat my family's heirlooms as a joke.
Really good with Legos.
So good with Legos. Body pillow connoisseur.
Okay. Update. This is a big update.
Please be single.
And
please learn how to be single.
All right. Yeah, please. Okay. Everyone's comments were a real wake-up call. I did already realize, at least somewhat, that the entire time we'd known each other before dating, he had treated me like crap, but I justified being with him by saying that he'd changed because I'd won him. But the pros and cons list made me realize really just how little he thought of me, and giving it to me made me think that he still felt the same way towards me. It also made me realize that in his mind, he was settling for me, and that he probably only really liked me for the things I did for him. I also realized that although that was fine for a little, he is really hot, to be honest, I definitely didn't want to have kids or spend the rest of my life with a man who didn't actually like or respect me. I also did make my own list, as some of the comments said, which made me realize how much I was willing to overlook for an attractive man. I would never give it to him because even though a lot of people seem to think I don't really love him, I do care about him a lot for some reason and would never do anything to hurt him. But here is the list. Pros.
Yes! Yes!
This is awesome.
Pros. 6'2", big, attractive, popular, good job and makes a lot of money, close to family, can be sweet, pays for things, submissive.
Well, that was a hard left turn.
I know that last one. That might be the biggest shock.
Blue eyes, finance.
Cons. NPC has no. That's crazy work. Has no hobbies or interests. Drinks a lot. Clearly doesn't respect me. Kind of stupid. Not interesting. Hardly an intellectual. Not well read. Don't have a lot to talk about together. Friends don't like him. Not good in bed. Damn. Okay. My list made me realize that not only does he kind of have nothing going for him, but being with him also reflects pretty terribly on myself and my values. I'm not really ashamed of myself because I met him when I was 18, but I hope I will not be this shallow of a person for my whole life. So I broke up with him this morning over coffee. He wasn't really upset and was just kind of like, damn, okay.
Right. Exactly.
We cannot be surprised.
Does that mean we can't bone no more?
Yeah. Damn. He was just like, okay.
NPC.
He did try to convince me to stay, but I was firm and we are officially broken up. I blocked him on everything because I have no self-respect when it comes to him, and I have no doubt he would try to booty call me soon if I didn't. My friends are all actually thrilled and are hosting a party for me tonight. God damn.
They're so happy they're throwing a party.
Hate that guy.
Awesome.
My family was also pretty relieved. They didn't hate him, but they thought he was really stupid. And I think they're happy I won't be polluting the family lineage with idiocy on that level. So thank you everyone for the wake-up call. I guess I will see how adult life without him in it goes. I love how all of her cons were just like, he's dumb.
I'm like, you are padding the list a little bit.
Yeah,
there was
she's like,
5 sort of synonyms there.
Kind of stupid, not interesting, hardly an intellectual,
NPC.
not well read. Yeah.
He's dumb.
NPCs.
That's crazy.
Savage.
Pretty devastating.
That's hard.
To be fair, he's always like, Gray Man or Battleborn? Have you been to the Cloud Districts? Of course you have.
Oh, man. Wow.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Thank goodness that ended the right way.
That was that was condensed. Like I was like, I hope she learns soon how to be single. Just what a satisfying once. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Damn, sucks.
Just because they're pretty don't mean that they're good. Shock scale?
That was like an 8. There parts of it were like an 8.
Parts of it. I'd say parts.
So the
7,
fact
8.
that he gave that to her.
That's the part.
I also think it's, look, they're young and I forget what it's like when you're that age. But like shocking that she tolerated this and was like, he can be sweet sometimes. I'm like, you're talking about a guy who's actively just like, you're kind of a slut.
I think every person can be sweet sometimes. That's not really a quality.
That's not a quality. If you're putting a sometimes in there, you need to start. You need to question that sometimes.
It's wild because like I have so many conversations with friends when they're going through stuff, or maybe they start seeing somebody and they're like, I don't know how I feel yet. And 99% of the time, it's like, I don't know, but like, they listen to me when I talk and they enjoy my company. And I'm like, that's bare
the
minimum.
base level.
That's bare minimum. What did you have before? And you know, so,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it should never be like, oh, well, occasionally this thing happens. It's like, no, that should be the norm.
That should be the norm.
Like, it should. Story. Am I the asshole for leaving my boyfriend because he bought his female best friend lingerie as a joke?
Whoa. I'm sure it was a perfectly innocent purchase. Let's hear him out.
I have read this post before, and it is wild. Okay.
Got to pose for this one.
My boyfriend, who's 28, and I, a 24-year-old woman, have been together for a year and a half. I love him a lot, and he has been pretty amazing to me. He is also the sort of person who has lots of friends, and his close friends are pretty much family. He also loves to joke and play these harmless pranks on his friends, which sometimes makes me feel weird. Just for context, he has 2 female friends and 3 male friends. This is about my boyfriend and one of his friends, Claire, a 28-year-old woman. Claire is a nice woman, and we are friendly. My boyfriend also has never ignored me in favor of his friends or talked over me in front of them, which is why I don't understand if I'm in the right. They, my boyfriend's friends, had a recently escalated prank fight. I had made it clear to my boyfriend that I am not good at jokes and am rather stiff, and he said he would keep me out of it. Claire, my boyfriend, and another friend, Kyle, 27-year-old man, had a huge throwing water balloons fight in Kyle's backyard. Then my boyfriend got pranked with dye in his body wash. Then Kyle got pranked by Claire, something about whipping cream and oven mitts. But the issue was when my boyfriend bought a red lacy lingerie set and he planned to put it in Claire's room the next time he went over. I said it was a tacky prank, and why would he buy lingerie? None of the previous pranks have been of this kind, and it makes me really uncomfortable. I also felt like if I was Claire, I would feel gross about it. But my boyfriend got mad and defensive and told me Claire is cool like that, and she would think it's funny. I admit, I get a bit weirded out when he calls Claire extremely beautiful and jokes about how she has always been way out of his league. But I thought it was nothing, and they were like family, so I guess it was their thing. However, the lingerie prank had me put my foot down, and I said that he was wrong to give another woman lingerie, no matter who, when he had a girlfriend. We fought, and I said I wanted to break up, which he didn't want to, and said that I was just overreacting. He said that I was too conservative and needed to open my mind when he had never given me a reason to be insecure. Claire called me and said that she and my boyfriend have been friends for a long time, and inside jokes are just that, and I'll learn with more age. I still feel weird about this. My best friend is supportive of me no matter what I do, but I've started to feel like I'm blowing this out of proportion. My boyfriend says that the fact that he told me and didn't hide it from me shows that I'm the problem. I have started to feel like I've blown this out of proportion, and maybe it's my fault I can't take a joke. I really feel awful about this whole thing. Am I the asshole? Edit. The people asking what the prank is with the lingerie, apparently it's an inside joke about how during their college days, she had some problems with the color red, and the lingerie would have just given her a shock of some kind, I guess. I told my boyfriend it was cruel, but he said it wasn't a trauma thing, just an inside joke. Claire also said over the phone that the lingerie thing was just an inside joke of their college days.
Huh.
Nah.
Okay. This is some weird shit, man.
Yeah. It's like I know this word's used a lot, but like it's almost like this whole like everyone is like it's almost like everyone's like gaslighting her.
I think that's a fair use of the word.
Like it's like everyone's like, no, you're overreacting. You're overreacting. Like there was a moment at the very beginning of this story where I was like, okay, maybe it's like a prank. But the more I heard, the more I was like, I mean, the thing that tipped it over for me was like, she told him not to do it.
Yep.
She said, this makes me uncomfortable. Yeah. Please don't do this.
And he did it.
And he said, you're overreacting, dummy.
It actually doesn't make you uncomfortable.
Yeah. And did it anyway. And it's like, okay, at that point, like, you know what?
All the pranks leading up to it are pranks, right? It's like, oh, water balloon fight, or I put dye in your whatever. I put whipped cream in your oven mitts. Yeah. And then it's just all of a sudden, it's like this thing where it's like, what would it be a funny prank if what if I bought her lingerie and then I would like, oh my God, what if we had sex?
Yeah. What if I like scattered roses in a trail to her bed?
Wouldn't that be so? Oh, I'd prank her so hard. She'd be so freaked out.
Candle near her bath.
Oh my God, what if we went on vacation for a month and you know? What if we had an open relationship as a prank?
Please? What is the age of the people involved here? Because you said
OP is 24, everybody else is 28.
Okay, so this is...
And the friend Claire told her, like, oh, you'll learn to, like, be cool with this stuff with age.
That's
and I'm like, this is condescending. That makes the gaslighting feel weird. I don't think I read I can't remember the update. But I remember my initial feelings when I read this story was like, I was like, oh, they're cheating and they're both just gaslighting her together.
Yeah, it's even if it's not, like, let's say it's entirely innocent. I don't think it is, but let's say it is. If your partner is saying, I am uncomfortable with this, you have to at least address it in good faith and not just say, oh, you're overreacting. Like, that's not okay. So at the very least, when she's like, am I the asshole for breaking up? No, that's grounds for like that in general.
100%.
And I also think like, had they been the same age, sort of on like the same status in the same friend group, like it's not even like it makes me uncomfortable. It's like oh, you bought what for your friend? Huh. Yeah, I'm gonna let you rethink that one and maybe return it.
The fact that he didn't even second guess this at all, I'm like, he doesn't have any respect for you.
And she like set her boundaries. Like I feel like she made it very clear, and he just did it anyway, which is super disrespectful.
He's only talking about how Claire won't. This is nothing to Claire. Like it's not going to offend Claire, but it clearly offends her, and he didn't think about that at all.
And I'm curious too. She said like, oh, you know, there's no reason to be insecure leading up to this, but she clocked that like he had said that Claire was out of his league at some point. In what context does that come up?
I know. I'm like, that's weird.
That's a weird.
That's really weird.
I mean, I think generally like
there's a possibility of a conversation.
Yeah,
I guess.
I'm sure that the OP at some point in some moment of insecurity asked him like if he thought that. Whatever her name was,
Claire.
Like Claire was hot, and he, you know, just being honest, you know, said that she was like beautiful. Like,
but it's so disrespectful though to be like she's out of my league, but you're not.
Because 100%. And also that's like direct comparison of like, oh, her in relation to me? No, that could never work because she's too attractive for me. It's like, all right, well, what if she wasn't too attractive for you? Oh, yeah, well then 100%. Let's go. Yeah, green light.
No, these events all together, you run.
Run.
Verdict, not the asshole. Comments, not the asshole. You aren't blowing this out of proportion. How is buying lingerie and putting it in someone's room a prank? You'll learn with age. There's a 4-year age difference between you and Claire. Does she think in 4 years you'll somehow think buying lingerie is acceptable and somehow can be considered a prank? Girl, I'm in my 40s and I can tell you right now, that would never be an acceptable inside joke or prank. And your boyfriend telling you you're the problem because he didn't hide it from you is just plain trying to manipulate / gaslight you. You don't need him to agree to dump his ass. ass. You deserve better. Drop him and Claire too. Not literally.
That'll teach him. The guy can be with Claire now. What?
We finally, like, sometimes we read stories, like, I think gaslighting gets used in a lot of incorrect contexts. I think this is an actual case of it. Because, like, they're doing something weird and they're all collectively like,
you're crazy.
No, this is normal. Yeah. And you're crazy. It's,
I think, like, a separate thing is, like, what I've noticed with, like, because y'all did a Reddit stories on pranks, right?
Yeah.
And
that was
think
my last one, yeah.
Okay, nice. Yeah. So I think like another thing we need to talk about is why are people so bad at pranks?
Yup.
Like our argument was like, it's like, do pranks even exist? Like nobody.
I don't think they do.
Well, I think the dye in the body wash. I think
that's funny.
Pretty good prank.
And whipped cream and oven mitts. Like that's
sure.
A prank to me. I'm like, it's only funny if it's funny to the person you're pranking, and also doesn't offend anyone else. Like,
but I think like I think everyone, I like to believe that everyone has like a sense of humor, but there's some people that I think like this guy, if it's truly a prank, like it's like, oh, you're like legitimately not funny because you don't understand like what a prank is. Like if this is your idea of a prank, then you just don't know comedy?
Yeah.
Like,
I think this was an excuse for him to throw out a line and see like...
Yeah, I think so.
Another comment here. My ex-fiance was gifted lingerie on Friendship Day by her male best friend. I was extremely uncomfortable. We later broke up due to the fact it turns out he escalated it to sex at some point afterwards. As a man, no man buys a woman underwear unless he wants to see her in it. You don't buy sexy lingerie as a joke gift. The prank war is just an excuse that gives him deniability because he is a coward. Yep. Sounds to me like you struck too close to the truth for his comfort, and he is shocked his perfect deniability plan didn't work. Lastly, someone said, if he's telling you that this girl is out of his league, you're out of his league. Move on.
Yeah, and I'll say this too, like, a large portion of my friends are either women or genderqueer or just like people that I could theoretically be dating.
Sure.
But I don't see them that way. And similarly, if I have a partner, they need to be having that same kind of freedom too with who their friends could be.
Right.
But I have been in a situation before where like someone's guy friend turned out to be way more and I didn't find out till like way down the line.
Sure.
But the point is, if you are uncomfortable with that situation, it doesn't really matter whether something is happening or not. A boundary is being crossed in your relationship. Therefore, you need to be able to address it respectfully and maturely with each other, or this ain't a match.
Yeah.
Because either you are, you know, not comfortable with them having a friend like that, or there is something going on.
Right.
But it's the same result.
Yeah.
Update.
Let's go.
My inbox got flooded with DMs and I had to turn off Reddit notifications. When I posted this, I was ready to be called immature and ridiculous and get a couple of comments, but it seemed like the post blew up and the comments were kind of eye-opening. To be honest, before all this fiasco, my boyfriend has always been nice to me. Came with me to my grad school functions even though he found them very boring, but would do it so that I could network. He builds stuff like furniture and helps out with handiwork all the time. He is also very funny, and at the very beginning, I thought all his jokes were funny, and I sometimes wondered why he wanted to be with me. Plus, I was always busy with school and job interviews. His mom and I had even gotten close, and she has been saying how happy she was that we were together. I had always ignored his and Claire's weird dynamic because I told myself I was being insecure. I have male friends too, and I thought that just because we aren't like that doesn't mean my boyfriend and Claire can't be close. Claire has also never been outright mean to me. She was just aloof, and I thought it was because I was new to the group. To the actual update, my boyfriend and I broke up. I'm sorry, guys, but even after seeing so many replies on how he was cheating, I refused to believe it. I'm still in love with this guy, and he called me like a half a day after I wrote this post and asked to meet. I met him, and he said that he understood where I was coming from, but I was always too uptight to understand that friendship is friendship. He and Claire had known each other for years before I came into the picture, and I could not expect him to just ruin their dynamic. I asked him what sort of dynamic was red lingerie. Why couldn't it be literally any other type of clothing? He told me he had it with my insecurities, and that he and Claire talked and apparently I was making them sound like cheaters and homewreckers, and that he thought it was better I find someone like me who thought the idea of a fun night was junk food and a movie indoors. That hurt a lot. He had always known I had insecurities about being called boring. He always complimented me on how his weaknesses were my strengths. Now he says things like this to me. Also, before this lingerie fiasco, I had never said a word about his and Claire's friendship. I always supported his pranks and practical jokes, no matter my opinions on them, because I thought it was his business, what he did with his hobbies. And he leaves without even putting up a fight because his girlfriend didn't want him giving lingerie to the woman he constantly refers to as his sexy bestie.
What?
Yeah.
Pump the brakes?
Claire didn't call or text after the breakup either, but Kyle did and said that he was sad that we broke up and he hoped I would be okay in the future. I asked him if my boyfriend ever cheated on me. He said that my boyfriend had only been a one-woman man when he was dating me, but he could understand that some women can't handle female best friends, especially if they look like Claire. I told him to f*** off and blocked him. It felt like he only wanted to gloat and hurt me because my boyfriend left. I feel like I never knew these people. Claire and Kyle were always at least decent to me, if not nice. Did it make me a free target now that my boyfriend has been telling his friends I'm an insecure child? I don't know what to do now. I have been told repeatedly by both my friends and sister that I dodged a bullet, but I have been breaking down like a kid again and again. I'm even thinking of going to therapy after feeling the most insecure I've felt my whole life. Thank you all those who were supportive. It feels like my now ex-boyfriend just did the work for me.
Wow.
Yeah, maybe they weren't cheating, but it does seem like it's a dynamic where he's absolutely in love with Claire and Claire loves that power dynamic. And it doesn't even matter because they are all so disrespectful towards her.
I think like they sound like a horrible match where she like, and I'm not putting this blame on her, but like she does sound like there are some serious insecurities.
Oh yeah.
And he is the absolute worst person for that.
Well, he probably found her and like clocked her.
And I don't know, like how long were they together for?
Sounds like year and a half.
Year and a half.
Oh, that's it?
So she was like 22, 23
when
they met.
Yeah,
and
I think he clocked like, oh, you're super insecure and I can manipulate. And he may not even been consciously thinking that.
Right.
But he just
because
felt
also
that.
the things that she listed that was like, he's so great for me. She was like, he comes to my grad functions and he makes furniture. And it's like, is that really like,
no, the bar
is that really where the bar is?
I mean, yeah. The amount of times it's been like, oh, I got you flowers. And it's like, no person has ever gotten me flowers before. I'm like, oh, you mean they only did for your birthday or anniversaries? It's like, nope, never had flowers. And I'm just like, holy shit.
Yeah, the bar is, he's not awful to me.
Yeah.
I don't think it matters whether he's cheating or not. He is super disrespectful to her.
I believe that they weren't cheating.
Yeah, there could be a world where like, that is how their friendship is. Great. But it's going to take a special kind of partner to be like, oh, yeah, I'm like that with my dude friend. How does he feel about that? But still, like...
He would have a problem with it.
It's a very specific relationship they have.
Yeah, well, and I would even... And obviously, we don't have this information, but, like, I would very much believe that, you know, Claire does see him as just a friend, and I think he's just waiting for the moment to try to get with her.
Totally. That's what I believe. Ugh.
Sexy bestie? Who the f says that?
I know. She keeps revealing new information where it's like...
they were giving each other CPR back and forth when I walked in on him in his room.
I do hope she goes to therapy. You know, her phrasing of like, I'm even thinking of going to therapy. It's like, you should go to therapy. Like, for sure.
Everybody should.
Yeah, I think I think if she could afford it, yeah, definitely.
It's a 29-year-old woman. My boyfriend, who's 28, of 5 years, has become infatuated with female Twitch streamers, and it's making me feel like crap.
Story feels familiar.
Okay. So I knew he was into video games when we started dating. I'm basically the opposite of him in that department. I've never been interested in anything video game related. That entire nerd culture is not for me. Mind you, I have made an effort to understand his hobby, and over the years, I've even found games I enjoy playing. But I would definitely not consider gaming to be a hobby of mine. I'll play rhythm games like once a week for an hour at most, for example. In the beginning of the relationship, first couple years or so, it was pretty difficult getting through to him because he was constantly on World of Warcraft. We had to set boundaries later on because I found he wasn't making any time for me, and he was constantly on Twitch, either watching or streaming himself, or playing World of Warcraft or League of Legends or whatever else. It got pretty bad, but we worked through it. His obsession with Twitch kind of dwindled down, and we were both seemingly happy. However, and I feel dirty even writing this, I feel worthless and absolutely disgusting and unwanted. Please don't judge me too harshly. One night before bed, as I was getting ready to lay down, he was watching a stream on his tablet of some famous Twitch female streamer. I happened to glance over, and she was pretty scantily clad, big nerd glasses, tits hanging out. I thought, whatever, it's just him watching a game. This went on for a few nights in a row. Each time it was a different girl. He'd watch for a bit, turn it off, and immediately want to have sex. I've secretly felt like shit over it, but I guess last night kind of broke the camel's back. He set up a stream, started coming on to me in bed, and left his tablet propped up on the night table. I was going along with his advances, but attempted to close the tablet when he told me, no, leave it on. I want to watch her while I do you.
No, 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 no.
I was pretty much in shock, didn't know how to respond, started crying, and left for the night. He didn't even really attempt to stop me. I got a half-assed sorry as I was leaving.
No.
Thankfully, my parents live like 5 minutes away, so I spent the night there. Since I left, he's attempted to call twice and has texted me twice. One text was to tell me I'm overreacting. Am I? How do I approach this? I thought we were over it. I thought we had a decent relationship, but he clearly prefers watching women play video games over just having sex with me. Do I approach him or wait for him to approach me?
Ugh, ouch.
This sucks.
That is really, really painful.
That's a bummer.
Oh.
That's
that. For the record, I don't think that is overreacting.
No, it's not overreacting.
No,
Not at all.
No.
I think that's so valid. And it's like, honestly, I was with her, even with like watching the streamers right before bed and it just being like different female streamers every single night and constantly I was like, okay, I'm with you. I could definitely see where some of that comes from. And then just actually having it propped up.
And saying, he literally said it.
Don't put that down.
Yeah.
That's immediately crossing a line. And yeah, she's left the room crying and you're like, sorry.
I don't even think he said sorry.
You're overreacting.
Yeah, you're overreacting.
I hate it. I hate it. I don't
He should just be alone with his Twitch streamer.
There's a lot of elements here. I mean, yeah, he literally says, I want to watch another woman while I'm doing you. Like that's so mean to do
That would make anybody feel like they're settling.
Yeah, and what he's also doing here, there's another aspect of this, is he's introducing something to the bedroom without her consent. You know, like this is an element. There are couples out there who do watch things while they have sex, but you have to talk about that and agree on
well beforehand.
Not bring it in the middle of it
and say, don't
and
touch
trick
that.
her
Yeah, and then when
into
someone
it.
says no, you go stop.
No. No. So
you're not communicating with your partner what your needs are. Instead, you're just kind of like completely zoning into an obsession.
Yeah.
What it seems like.
Yeah.
This is just.
I think this would make anyone feel bad about this.
Yeah.
Right. And again, like there's clear signs as well in the way that she's writing. She's not paranoid. She's not panicking. She's just clearly laying out the signs that this pattern is happening where he's clearly aroused after watching these females and he clearly has a type because he's always been into gaming. So I think it's so natural to initially draw some assumptions and then for it to actually play out and get hurt, that exactly what you were predicting and dreading happens right in front of you.
Yeah.
That's got to be so painful.
So uncomfortable.
This is brutal. Comments here. He wanted to watch the stream while you had sex? Oh, no, just no. And he has the cheek to say that you're overreacting. I mean, if you want to still be with him, then you need to be honest. Tell him it isn't acceptable. Don't let him convince you that it's no big deal. Someone else said, not only is it ridiculous that he would ask that of you, but something I don't want you to overlook is that he is trying to invalidate your feelings and blow this over as soon as possible by telling you you're overreacting.
Yep.
He knows he messed up, and his defense is to completely ignore the way you feel and instead try and shift the focus on you and your overreacting. That's bullshit. I think you should respond and just say you need some time away from him to think and take whatever time you need. But there are some crazy red flags coming up in this story. OP responds saying, yeah, last night kind of solidified my not wanting to continue with this relationship. I'll make an update post eventually, but we basically got together and the whole time it was just him invalidating my feelings and defending himself. Not just about last night, but he brought up shit I thought we were over from years ago. It's just not worth it at this point. I'm exhausted and I haven't really slept. Work is kicking my ass. Ugh. Lastly, someone said, you're not worthless or disgusting. What your boyfriend did was extremely disrespectful and you are right to be upset. Watching scantily clad girls is one thing. Plenty of people like to watch porn or other similar things. What he's doing is basically using your body while he thinks of other people, which is pretty gross. Be firm with your boundaries.
Gross.
If he still brushes it off, then you should probably get a better boyfriend.
Yeah. Goodbye.
Yeah, and
That's
to be
over.
They've been together for 5 years too, so he's clearly just like, yeah, using her.
So wait, they've been together 5 years. He's never done this before?
I don't think so. I think this is new, but...
Text him.
Let me text him. Well...
We have him behind door number 1.
We're going to get some more info because we have an update.
Oh my God.
Last night, I decided to get together for coffee with him, mostly because my mother urged me to. I never told her the extent of what exactly happened, but she knows it's video game related because we've gone over this problem before in the past. Anyway, I initiated the conversation via text and he agreed to meet me. I guess I don't know what I was expecting. Closure, maybe? Because I was pretty sure I wanted to end it and stop trying to work things out because I've been working things out for the past 5 years. It's just become tiring. Anyway, he got into defense mode right away, basically listing all the things I've done wrong in the relationship and why he's over me. These are the things I've done wrong. I declined going to Korea last year for vacation. He so badly wanted to go. I knew if I went, I'd be left alone every day because his buddy would have come too. Also, there was a big League of Legends tournament happening at the time. So he would have been doing League of Legends related things and mentally masturbating to the cosplayers all the time while I explored the city alone or hung out in a hotel. I said I wasn't interested in going. He got huffy, but eventually got over it, or so I thought. 2, I changed my appearance even though I knew he liked women with long brown hair. I decided to cut my hair fairly short and bleach it blonde not too long ago. It was time for a change anyway, and I'm very happy with how it turned out. He was not.
Period.
3, I always refused to wear revealing clothing. He'd constantly badger me about how I don't wear enough stuff that shows off my tits and legs. I'm fairly modest. I'm not into that kind of stuff. I'm more comfortable in a t-shirt and jeans. He'd want me to wear sundresses and plunging tank tops. I always said no.
Plunging tank tops.
4, my birthday gift this year was a pair of those giant wraparound headphones. Headgear. I don't know what they're called. All the Twitch streamers are wearing them, but he spent a fairly good amount of money on them, which sounds sweet, I guess, but I had originally complained that my old headphones suck and I need new ones for the gym. He got me these bulky ones and got upset that I don't wear them much. He's asked me in the past to wear them, put my hair in pigtails, and wear revealing clothing around the house while wearing my glasses. I'm not even kidding. This guy is a major stereotype.
Whoa.
Gross.
5, I didn't play League of Legends and I didn't enjoy sitting on the couch watching him play hours of League of Legends. I don't know how to play the game. I tried numerous times. I suck. I didn't enjoy myself. Why would I keep at it? 6, and I was not open-minded about anything. This is pertaining to the situation in the OP. I'm not open-minded enough about being his fleshlight, so this hurt his feelings too. I'm not accepting of his kinks, which is a total f***ing lie because I've agreed to do some pretty out there stuff in the past to appease him. I'm very open-minded about sex. I would have appreciated a forewarning about the Twitch girl joining us in the bed though. 7, I don't get along with his friends. I tried so hard. I tried to relate to those guys like you wouldn't believe, but they all literally have zero social skills. They're awkward and blatantly ignored my existence whenever I was around. They'd start talking about things they're interested in and just disregard anything I ever said. They'd invite him to board game nights, asking if I'd be going too, like they don't want me there. I was pretty much an outcast, so no, I tried. They just didn't want me to be around. So in conclusion, I told him I was done. He didn't really react dramatically. I think he's done with the relationship too. He can watch all the Twitch he wants now and play League of Legends for 24 hours a day. That must be quite a relief. I'm going to the apartment to pick up whatever I can later. I'm staying with my parents until I find a new place. I feel oddly calm and okay with everything that's gone down in these last couple days. This is almost a relief. Thanks, everyone. So he was just objectifying the shit out of her.
100%.
Oh my God. And again, just trying to craft her into what he wanted her to be. Yeah.
Also, no one ever needs to sit on the couch and watch you play League of Legends.
No.
Hello?
No. It's a real shame too, because she really does sound like a really great partner.
Yeah.
And he fumbled.
Well, she'll find a better
she's going to be absolutely fine. He, however, hasn't left his computer.
Oh, he's going to be fine too.
He's going to be just fine. He's not even there anymore.
He's got
into another.
He's got his
Black Mirror
headphones
plugged in. Like, yeah.
He's like, great. I don't need you either.
Yeah.
Wires coming out of every part of his body, just like I'm in the net now.
I am now free. I have no contact with humans anymore.
God. Jesus.
God, I hate that.
Yeah, that
I hated
sucks.
that.
That was gross.
That was
pretty gross.
really gross.
Can you believe they were at a coffee shop and he was saying these things out loud in a coffee shop, like thinking he's justified?
Right.
He's there in front of other people probably being like, you wouldn't wear revealing clothing.
Plunging tank tops.
You change your hair and you know I like long brown hair.
He took all that to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT laid out the 10 bullet points.
Dude.
Yeah, exactly.
He gave it back to her.
That was awful.
Gross.
I hated that so much.
All right.
Wow.
His friends probably sucked ass.
Yeah.
All right. I'm the asshole for asking my wife to think about the long-term implications of her birth plan. Throw away because my friends know my main. I know dudes get ripped in here for posting their opinions about birth, but I think this is an important opportunity for my wife, and I'm posting because I believe the situation is nuanced and she's not hearing me out. This is a 34-year-old man. My wife, Beth, 28, is 33 weeks pregnant. We're both very ready for this baby to come. My mom is super hands-on with my entire family. My two brothers' wives are very close with her, but Beth has just never really clicked the way the other two did. I'd be lying if I said it didn't bother me that my wife seems disinterested in getting closer with my mom and my sister-in-laws. For all 5 of the births of my sister-in-laws, my mom's 3 births, they were all unmedicated. It is clearly a point of pride for all of them at having done it naturally. My mom said she chose to do it because she didn't want me and my brothers born doped up, and she wanted to experience the full spectrum of becoming a mother. Beth, on the other hand, is very fearful of birth and has talked to our doctor about being medicated. I didn't love the idea of the mother of my child being loopy and out of it at such a critical moment, but those concerns fell on deaf ears when I raised them. I felt very excluded during the discussion around pain management, and neither Beth nor our doctor were receptive to my ideas. My mom was asking me about our birth plan the other day, and I don't know why I did this, but I just sort of panicked and told her that Beth was going for it the all-natural way, like she and my sister-in-laws have. To say my mom freaked out with happiness is an understatement. She was thrilled that Beth was open to experiencing the full range of motherhood, and this might sound crazy, but I think if Beth shared this rite of passage with my mom and sister-in-laws, they might finally gel. I told Beth about my slip-up to see if she'd be open to changing her mind, given how this could serve as a critical bonding experience for them to share, and she lost her mind, yelling about how she wasn't going to compete with my mom and sister-in-laws during her birth. She emphasized that it was her birth again and again, which I don't think is fair because it will be an experience we both go through. Just differently. I was just trying to get her to see that there was an opportunity for her to create some sisterhood with the women of my family. I wasn't dictating or even pressuring her. I just thought she would want to know how happy it made my mom. She told me she didn't give a f*** about sisterhood, which was very intense because Beth does not swear. I wasn't trying
It's almost like this is important to her.
I wasn't trying to upset her. I just think she would be wise to see the potential long-term implications of not having this shared experience with my mom and sister-in-laws. But Beth has been furious to the point of not speaking to me for several days, and I'm starting to wonder if I'm in the wrong, even if I was trying to help. Am I the asshole?
You know, it's almost like, you know, maybe having the child would be something that they could bond over, not the pain of having one.
Yeah.
I don't understand, like, why he thinks that, like, the pain is necessary.
Well,
for
his
mom.
he's getting ripped open too.
I know. The poor guy, he has to suffer so much.
Babe, listen. Beth, sit down.
Don't swear.
Please don't swear. I know that you're going through a lot, but I want you to know, like, my emotional is getting
getting wrecked. Just kidding. My emotional is just getting
my emotional pussy.
He's like, I'm doing it the natural way.
Yeah. We are pregnant.
You know what's interesting though? Something I just want to point out. Like, this isn't the first time in Reddit stories that a family has a tradition that is just kind of confusing for me.
And
I mean,
yeah, it's so odd that it's a family tradition being put on in-laws who are not connected to this family outside of their relationship with someone in the family. So
it's like the wife test one.
Right.
Do you remember that? Where it's like, well, this is a tradition my family has. It's like, well, cool. I'm not technically like that's their tradition. That's fine. But
and when it gets down to the nitty-gritty. Bodily autonomy, my guy. Like her body, her pregnancy, her birth. I'm a little hung up on the mom is like fixated on the idea of this baby being loopy when they're born and like, oh my God, that's such a big deal. Like, that baby's not gonna remember that.
Also, like, what even is like natural birth? Like, are you going out to the fucking woods to like push this thing out and you're gonna rip the umbilical cord off with your teeth? Does the mom have like some fucking degree? Does she know that like giving the mother drugs is gonna drug the baby?
No, he points out that the doctor is clearly on his wife's side.
Right.
And he's like, this friggin' dumb doctor's not receptive either.
Well, also, like, emotions are not facts. This story is him saying, I lied to my mom about what my partner is doing and then tried to convince my partner to go along with the lie. That's not just like going along with the lie, it's putting your body through a very significantly more painful experience.
Yeah. Or like even there could be an even more insidious intention here where he told the mom she was going to do it naturally so that they can both gang up on her and be like, you're going to be natural, right? It's going to be natural, right?
It's such a strange, he keeps saying like feeling the full range of motherhood.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of weird
An epidural or whatever you need in a pregnancy does not invalidate the experience at all. Like, you are still very much a mother if you have a C-section, if you get the epidural, like if you have a surrogate, that is still your baby. Obviously, pregnancy situation is different with the surrogate, but like, you're a mother no matter what. Like, that is your baby. She could have lied and said, yeah, all natural, babe. I'm gonna be all natural, and then she had the epidural. Like, what's the good in that poor communication?
It's I don't know. I feel like I hear people talk a lot about like motherhood and parenting, and they just refer to like that first like the birth and the first couple of years of raising a baby, of being a parent. I'm like, being a parent's a lifetime thing. Like whether you're gonna be a good mom or dad that's that child's whole life into adulthood, and how you are a parent throughout their entire life is determining that.
Yeah,
that's like, the full range of motherhood.
Like, to say like, oh, you have to have pain during, you have to like go through this like traumatic, like horrible pain in order to like bond with other women on motherhood. It's just that's
so
crazy.
strange.
Like, there's so much before and after the actual like event that like women have to deal with.
I feel like, and this is probably a little bit of a spicy take, where like I feel like people put so much on the pregnancy and having a baby, and then like postpartum depression is really tough, and it's like we put too much pressure on women in a lot of those situations, and yeah, it's not just having a baby. You are raising a human. That is a blip in the situation. And also, I'm pretty sure there's a scientific fact of like women tend to forget like the physical pain, like their body does not remember how painful it was to give birth, because in like when a species is reproducing, they don't want your body to remember the pain because they want you to keep reproducing.
What I will also say is like, I think this also falls in line with a lot of people, kind of this whole thought where we forget that we're in a modern society where we've like kind of like childbirth is super dangerous, and I think they have this thought of like, yeah, it's like you go about it naturally and everything's gonna work out because that's nature. It's like, naturally women fucking died a lot in childbirth historically.
This mom is fixated on the idea of all of this.
It's like, I wish I was born in another time. It's like, well, if you were born in another time, you might have died before you were 1 year old. So,
well, a Krispy Kreme donut would have killed you. Like that's the reality.
Hearing Despacito would have blown your mind open. So I think we know how the comments are going to go here. You're the asshole. Your complete and utter selfishness is so overwhelming that I had to take a break while reading this post. You and your wife will be experiencing this birth differently because you'll be sitting on your judgmental ass while your wife's body is forever transformed. You are a full partner in parenting, but regardless of what mommy told you, the hours you spend laboring aren't even close to the full range of motherhood, so take a seat. OP responded, I appreciate that we will have very different roles and experiences of the birth. All I meant was I'm seeing the holistic experience as something we create together because we made this child together and will love this child together. Certainly we have different roles in the process. She's more the quarterback and I'm more the coach. So I know
bro.
So I know
that's what you did.
Yeah, you're more like the recruiter. You were the recruiter.
So
you
I
have
know,
the sperm, and then that's it. She did everything else.
So I know she's the one working while I'm the one strategizing. Oh God.
Ew.
Holy shit.
Stop. There's already enough like objectification in football. Like these guys are just stats and numbers that are being subjected to concussions all the time. You're not the f***ing coach of your wife.
For football fans, he's the Urban Meyer of dad coaches. Someone's gonna get it. He's a really shitty coach.
Okay.
You're the asshole. This is akin to her saying you should go through major surgery without any anesthesia. She is giving birth, not you. You are not equal partners in this. You are a spectator while she is doing all of the work. So you get zero say in how she chooses to do it. At this point, you should consider yourself lucky if she allows you to be in the hospital room at all. OP responded. By the way, that earlier one, negative or minus 690 downvotes.
The OP's
response. OP responded to this comment. I don't think that's an accurate analogy. Women have been giving birth for thousands of years unmedicated. Pain management for surgery accounts for something unnatural occurring, i.e. cutting open a chest cavity. I know she's the one doing the work. I just feel like we are better off approaching as a team effort, so we should be aligned. 3,121 downvotes.
Yeah.
That's some of the most downvotes I think I've ever seen.
Women were burned at the stake because we thought they were witches. They should be able to handle pain.
I'm not a historian. I think a historian would say that is actually incorrect.
Yes.
For thousands of years, they were finding ways to probably.
Yeah, they probably like gave women like brandy, like they did all.
Dude, they were doing way worse stuff. They would stick their thumb in the whiskey bottle and put the thumb in the baby's mouth. Like shit was different then.
I think like this is. And I also don't agree with the take, like, we shouldn't let stupid people reproduce. But, like, this is what happens when, like, when stupid people say shit online, that it's just, like, you literally have, like, no idea, like, what a traditional birth is and, like, the dangers that come with it. You have this, like we said already, the romanticized idea of, like, a natural birth.
It's also very clear that his kids are going to fucking hate him. I know it already.
He's like, I'm going to prom too. I'm going to prom just as much as you are, son.
Someone else said, you're the asshole. Birth mortality is high enough. Why do you want to risk making your wife a statistic? OP responded, I would never. I would do anything in the world to make sure she and my soon-to-be son are well. That's why I started this convo with her to begin with. 206 downvotes. So OP was responding a lot. We have a bunch of responses. No context. Let's just
Linorama,
we get the idea of what's probably happening. I have done extensive reading on natural ways to control pain and ensure the baby makes it out with minimal damage to my wife. So I don't think it's fair to suggest I have no value to bring to the experience.
Jesus.
1,330 downvotes. That's somehow very chosen.
With minimal damage done to my wife.
I rolled a D20 on birth.
I studied many ways to ensure zero pain.
How do you do minimal damage during childbirth?
I'm just picturing like it's a diagram of like a baby in the womb and he's got like lines with like X's.
Yeah, he's doing the coach,
so this
he's
is the
doing the playbook.
It's like, you will never know. And one thing I'll say really quick is like, he's like, I never want to make my wife a statistic. He is by making her take part in a tradition because of the idea of it, simply because of these previous people who have done it too.
Yeah.
Like, it is all ego here. It is so much ego.
It's control too. He's super controlling and shitty. Another one, I know, this is all from him. I know death is dangerous, but it's the physical aspect of the birth that's dangerous, not the experience of the pain. I'm confused why you're equating pain with danger. 1,919 downvotes. She is the patient, but so is my child. Doesn't that at least give me a 50% say?
50%?
This guy is wild.
The baby has more say than you do.
I have definitely done the homework. I feel like I could deliver this baby myself at this point.
Oh,
LOL.
God.
Okay.
All right, I'm like, is this a troll?
Is this a troll at this point?
No, I think he's just showing his ass.
No, I think he's just actually, I think he's getting madder and he's just
he's letting it the mask slip.
Here's the last one. I'm not a doctor, but at this point I've read enough and watched enough YouTube videos that I could deliver this child myself. I did not make this suggestion without doing my homework on the pain mitigation techniques of meditation, breathing, aromatherapy, massage, and affirmations. I have a variety of pain management techniques that do not require medication. Just about 3,000 downvotes. Holy shit. Look, guys, I'm telling you, and I keep telling my wife, I have learned ways to make sure my does not hurt. and she just will not listen to me.
Bro, just breathe.
It does. Mine never hurts.
Just breathe. That's it. God.
This is the worst guy.
I would agree with
It's up
that.
there. It's
He's
definitely
up there.
It's definitely up
It's
there.
definitely leaderboard for sure.
Yeah, this is up there.
It got worse.
Somehow.
The mask slipped, like, as he started rapid fire replying to people, like, he
Also,
showed his
like,
ass.
This guy's 34.
That's true.
He's set in his ways.
Oh,
Dude, do you know how many pictures of of a diagram of the vagina he probably looked at before he had sex for the first time, and he's like, I will know where the clitoris is.
Moving on from that guy.
Please.
Emma, yeah.